live from. Let me see if I'm going live here. Live. Yeah, right. So let me do this. Oh, 1 second. Sometimes it takes a second to click over. Um, YouTube. I don't like the new version of YouTube. I always put mine in classic mode. For whatever reason, I can't find everything. You got to go to YouTube Studios, the new version. I drop all the way down here to classic mode. Classic mode. Once I drop down to classic mode, let me go to here to live stream. All right, all right, all right. As you guys come in, as always, yes, I'm happy to announce we have the new show, the the Jaffe and Z, or Next Gen show, Opposites Collide. When you guys come in, hit the like button. Sorry, we get a little 30 minutes late. Hopefully next week we'll be on time, prompt at 8 p.m. As you guys come in, you know the routine. Type your name. We're going to shout you out and hit the like button. We're going to have a hell of a show today. We got some topics in the half. I'm going to get and tweet and share this on Twitter. We're going to have some fun today. Dave, what's going on with you, good brother?
Well, not much. How you doing? I'm trying to figure out how to get into your stream. I'm not even in yet.
Okay.
So
if you go to my channel, but I'm going to send you the link right now.
we are flying by the seat of our fucking pants tonight. So it's fun. It's fun.
Here you go. Here's the actual link. But if you go to my channel, NEXTGEN720, maybe you ever heard of that guy, but it's right there up top. Here's the link to the actual show. Now let me tweet this out. Let me tag everybody.
Oh, there we go. Nice. All right.
Join us live for the Jaffe and Jaffe and Z. When opposites collide, show at 1. All right.
We should call this fucking thing Lethal Weapon instead of that.
Lethal Weapon? Oh shit.
No. Well, you're roughly my age, so you know what Lethal Weapon is.
What are you talking about? I'm 22 years old. The fuck are you talking about, Dave?
I don't. Do you mind getting older? I don't mind. I really don't mind.
Episode 1. Jaffe takes what was it? Jaffe takes a swing. Takes a swing at the media. Sony.
I wasn't taking a swing at the media.
Hey, motherfucker! You had some brass knuckles on last night.
Because I don't think they're the media. That's the thing. They're a bunch of people who got laid off from their fucking magazine. And you know what?
Oh shit!
And that's all right. That is totally okay. People get laid off and it sucks.
E3.
I feel for anybody who loses a fucking job.
State of gaming, plus more. A UFO landed on the White House lawn. Plus
it did not. Are you shitting me?
No, bullshit. Plus more. So let me tag you in here. David. We do all everything. As you guys come in, type your name. We're gonna shout you out. And we're gonna have a fun show. That first show. A first official show. We've done things together in the past, Paul. But it'll be our first show together.
And let me let you guys know, the people who are watching usually from my channel, this is Jaffe. The way I just want to give you a heads up, because the way we're doing this show is it's Z and I are talking, and we want to bring you in when it's super chats, when it's loots. If you want to call live on the show, you got to pay for a super chat. This is a fucking money show. That's the way that shit goes.
And
that's right. And so all my normal streams, same old shit all week long. This show is me and Z talking about games, all kinds of shit, UFOs, crazy shit. But we want your input. But the goddamn truth is, you got to fucking pay for it tonight. So that's how it works.
Listen here. If you send me $5, I promise you to send healing. If you have polio, lupus, what else is Ebola, you send me 15. I'm gonna send you this napkin here with my tears. You will be healed. Right. You will be blessed. Trust me.
My mom used to tell me I'd go to hell for making fun of the preachers in Alabama, but I couldn't help it. I could not help it.
Oh, the snake pits. Oh, them motherfuckers. This one. Well, yeah, we got a lot of shit we can talk. Yo, bro, you know what? I say the lethal opposite. We come from totally two different walks of life. That in itself is of it all. Like, trust me. Poor black kid from fucking Newark, New Jersey. You know what I mean? And you're from South, Robert E. Flagg, like totally
Well, look,
fucking.
fuck that. Look, I'm from deep South Alabama, but I still love parts of the South,
Yeah.
but I was thrilled to get out in regards to the racism. I mean, look, I was an atheist kid raised Jewish in the South,
Atheist
raised in
kid.
part by a black woman. I had a gay I still have a gay brother. It wasn't like the South was welcoming us, going, "Hey, come on to the next Klan cookout. Get your sheets at the door." Nobody was inviting the fucking Jaffes over to that shit.
Oh
So
man.
I assure you, it wasn't rough. It didn't feel like home to me. That's all.
I didn't say. Hey, yeah. Say look, you learn something every day. Made me check, my man.
Phantom
Definitely.
Kraken says, "What's good, guys? Good to see you. Good to see you too, sir. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. I appreciate it. It should be an interesting conversation. We were talking earlier about what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk a little bit about the E3. A lot of people have been talking about. We're trying to figure out. I don't really think it's a problem, but I've been amazed at how much this story won't die on the internet. I figured it would be a one-day story, and people are still talking about why Sony's not going to E3. And I'm just like, motherfucker, who gives a shit? But we're
Okay.
going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, I guess, Z, last night you watched me on this stream where these guys were coming
Yeah,
at
they
me.
clipped it. I didn't know, and I do better with that. I didn't know that. You gotta let me know when you go live so I can even promote your shit for you. I didn't,
I appreciate it.
sometimes I just go live myself and hope you don't. Listen, you ever heard the term ep tu brute?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, what does ep tu brute mean?
It means YouTube Brutus. It's
Yeah,
basically when
my
Caesar was
man.
getting
You see
stabbed.
that? Yo, you see that D? You see that D? My educated brother. I have a degree in history. Ep brute. We have a long, prosperous friendship. And I, wouldn't like to go live when you go live, and you know what I mean. I didn't even know you were going live. You know what I mean. So, seeing the clip, little Z, Jeffy's live right now, and I see you having this fucking how you say bond burner, this melt, not I'm gonna say a meltdown, over fucking twisted goddamn
Oh,
metal.
it was. These guys have a show called the Min Max Podcast, and somebody linked it to me and said, "Jaffe, they're talking about you." And I'm like, "I don't give a shit." And he's like, "No, you should fucking watch this. Here's the time code." So I said, "Fuck it, let's put it live on the show." And these guys were, and again, these guys were just being kind of smug assholes, talking about. We want a new Twisted Metal. That would be our dream PlayStation 5 launch game as long as Jaffe's not in. And then they just all sat around and giggled and laughed and shit like that. And I was like, you know what, motherfucker, it wouldn't bother me. I don't got a problem if you don't like my shit. I don't. You don't have to like every creator that's done work. It's totally okay. I got a healthy ego, but I'm not. I have thick skin. But it was the way they did it. It was this kind of
Ooh.
asshole. Look at us, little smug little motherfuckers. And it totally pissed me off. And I went off on them. And I went to my therapist today and I said, dude,
Oh
you have to
shit.
help me because
Jesus.
I want to make sure this was a healthy, appropriate response. Am I being super fucking immature or what? Because I had some people saying, Jaffe, you should be more fucking mature than that shit. And I was like, I don't know, doc. Do you think I was being immature and shit? And he's like, no, man. He's like, look, as long as you were being honest about the fact that you don't have a problem with them not liking your stuff, and I don't have a problem with them not liking my stuff. It's when it's this personal, petty, bitchy fucking
But
attacks
how
that
about
it's
this?
like,
I'm
it's like
being
grow the
honest.
fuck up.
This is my opinion, and I'm still posting this here in the couple of links where it's called multitasking. Yes, I took my medicine, right? I can multitask right now. When even from the Xbox side of things, right? When I hear guys say, "Hey, bring back Microsoft," or "Hey, bring back I don't know what the fuck, Phantom of the Opera, Midtown Madness."
Oh, fuck, that game was awesome.
I say that shit all the time.
Do you
Um,
know? Well, go ahead. I want to tell you about
no,
Midtown Madness. Go ahead. Go ahead.
but when I'm saying in today's landscape of gaming, even a game like what was known or Destruction, I mean, with Destruction Derby or a Twisted Metal, I don't think games like that will fare well without a battle royale mode. Or you understand what I'm saying? Because again, that's what I grew up on. And I mean, I was just remember just talking to you earlier today. The biggest landscape of even YouTubers or gamers are between the ages 13 to 18. I don't think a Twisted Metal the way that we had it You understand? Or what I
Yeah,
know for
I agree. I
it
agree.
won't cross over to the masses. It would have to fundamentally change to quote unquote adapt a younger demographic. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
there's no doubt, and that is why when people ask me ad nauseum, Jaffe, you're going to make a new Twisted Metal, I'm like, I don't know if Sony has the appetite to spend the money they would need to have to sort of bring it up to modern times, because the
Would it
thematic of
cost?
Twisted Metal. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, would it? Because if you look at a game like goddamn Rocket League, for shits and giggles, probably cost them $7 to make. But my God, it made billions of fucking dollars. I'm not taking a jab at the developers.
Yeah.
Give me one second. We're gonna get your chest. Give me 1 second. But it's how you say spinning a little, or even look, my God, look at games like Fortnite. I was talking yesterday, right? I would say this, Jeffy, since I've been doing YouTube, my little dog shit channel. I met some people that know some people within the industry, right? And even this way, how gaming overall has changed from the seventh generation to the eighth generation.
hundred percent.
What even with, like I said, Fortnite and quote unquote the inclusion of quote unquote a battle royale mode, which everyone
Mm-hmm.
that's the big thing to do now. The battle royale mode. Shit, Forza Horizon 4 just added some type of battle royale mode to our car game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So a game like will it be expensive? It has a nostalgia name, but they will have to make it somewhere early on the leave of a Rocket League for it to be accepted in
Right.
today's.
And I will tell you the same thing about Twisted Metal that I said about SOCOM, which is if you make a Twisted Metal today for the audience you're talking about, they are not going to vibe with the edgy Twisted Metal black shit. And Sony would be like, okay, we have to make this sort of a T-rated game, and then you're going to piss off all the hardcore fans. It's not even worth it if you're basically trying to make a multiplayer only Twisted Metal that appeals to the same audience as Rocket League. It's better to just come up with the brand new IP, because all you're going to have to do is deal with the backlash of fans who are like, fuck this ain't Twisted Metal. And it's that same shit, whether you're talking about Star Wars, whether you're talking about SOCOM, whether you're talking about WWE in the Attitude Era, every and anything that was popular at one time, if you let too much of a gap pass between the last iteration and the current iteration, you've got all these people that have romanticized their childhoods about growing up with that shit, and you will never satisfy them unless you make exactly what they had when they were kids, which the current generation of kids don't want. So it's a terrible, cross to bear if you're in that creative aspect trying to do that.
I'm gonna pay some of these bills here. We got here. I don't know. We seen the Phantom Kraken, AK John. What's going on, good brother? What's good? Good to see you guys. Shout out to you, Jaffe. Your rant from the other day was brilliant. Respects, my brother J Dub. David, is Horizon Zero Dawn niche or not? That's fucking guy.
Is it niche?
Niche.
What does that mean? Is it? I mean, it is a huge big seller. They're going to make a sequel to it more than likely. It may even be a launch PS5 title. No, I don't think it's niche at all. I think it did not connect. I think the real, to me, interesting question about that game is why didn't it connect in the same way that you would expect a big budget, brand new IP from the leading hardware developer? Like, why it connected enough that it made its money, but it wasn't a big zeitgeist change in game.
In my opinion, that they spent the budget on the graphics, very pretty game, but the voice acting. I'll give you an example. Let's hear me out, Dave. Don't shoot your co-host. Like the voice acting in some of the scenes in God of War. Leave my home.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and in Horizon Zero Dawn, very pretty game. Oh, I didn't want to kill my wife. You know what I mean? It's not even the same. They're just a very pretty game, but overall, just you know what I mean. And again, even when they transcend the genre of God of War, the voice acting, you have the action, and it's not the same thing in my opinion. Some people may feel different. What Horizon, even though what they did with the Decima engine, very pretty game. I can't wait to see. I would say this, David. I am a very shallow man. American, I would take beauty before brain, bitches with fat asses, and apple pies, and fast cars. That's just me. Hey, love me for my honesty. But that's one of the reasons why you can say hey, not up for maybe a game of the year or a game of the decade. Put up there because again, the acting also, was.
Right.
It was kind of cringe with some of the missions. stay over here in this burning bush and talk to Moses. Let me go over here. You know what I mean? It was a lot of missions like that. And saying like that how you say that didn't have much substance in my opinion. You know what I mean?
I would think maybe one of the reasons also it didn't connect. I mean, I'm not, again, it wasn't a failure.
Though, but about 10 million copies or so.
Yeah, but I think we always used to back in when I was doing at Sony, we always talked about like the 80-20 rule, where 80% of the concept of the game had to basically be relatable, and 20% of the game could be sort of fantastic and sort of out of the norm. I think Horizon Zero Dawn is so original in its concept and in its world and lore and IP that I think a lot of people who are used to just going into Target and buying Rainbow Six or Call of Duty, or you have to be a gamer through and through to look at something like Horizon Zero Dawn and say, I'm interested in that. And there's a lot of gamers that are like that, but it wasn't the most commercial concept compared to, say, something like a Call of Duty. So I think that probably, but I bet the sequel will do a lot better.
Oh yeah, with money and it was, like I said, a hit for them. I didn't kill for the Killzone franchise. Not really my thing, but
I'm with you as well. I wonder how much that has to do with Guerrilla Software. That's a really good point. You would have thought they could never get traction with Guerrilla with Killzone. They just couldn't. It never entered. It's the same thing with Horizon Zero Dawn. Neither one of those games seemed to ever really get to the same place of a Last of Us or a God of War or a Metal Gear. People know them, people love them, but they didn't kind of break out of the core PlayStation gamer ecosystem. And I'm assuming it has to do with thematic.
Yeah. Okay. Now maybe this may be seen. Was it, in my opinion, they were chasing that Halo killer? You mean
Killzone?
Yeah, they were chasing to have that because you had the 6th generation. Even though you had games like Halo was, a part of this. What are we in the 9th generation now?
I don't fucking know.
Well, in the 6th generation, you did have games. You had Halo, you know what I mean? But shooters during last generation became very dominant. And of course, you had Halo or Gears. And Sony, in my opinion, were looking for their flagship shooter. For whatever reason, SOCOM was very popular during the PlayStation 2, right? And
That's
then
right.
Something happened with, I don't know. You ever seen the movie Blade?
Of course.
Yeah, the first 2 movies was cool, right? The third one was straight to fucking DVD, straight to fucking blockbusters. I don't know what the fuck that was. And that's the same thing with fucking SOCOM 3. I don't know what the fuck that was. I understand they got hacked. They had the fucking PlayStation.
Well, what happened?
That was
I was fucking there when it happened. Not just the hack, but I was there. The issue is that because we were launching Twisted Metal 2012 about maybe 3 months after SOCOM, give or take. I forget the exact date. And there was absolutely pressure that we heard about for that game to go, is SOCOM still viable in a Call of Duty landscape? And so there was definitely design choices made for that SOCOM in order to make it more commercial. But in doing so,
I think it was the move. When adding the move stuff, that shit was just cheesy.
Well, yeah, but that's always. I mean, Sony always does that shit. They're always, for every great innovation, they give you 2 things that are really don't feel necessary, but as a developer, they're like, the mandate is you have to find a way to use the back touch of the Vita and shit. It's like, really? Okay, I guess I'll rub the etchings and Golden Abyss, and I mean it's Yeah. But anyway though. But I think with SOCOM 3, it was that they were trying to figure out how do we stay viable. And in figuring that out, they lost sight of what made them viable was what made them different. Mm-hmm. And it pissed off a lot of those fans. But let me tell you something. You were talking about sort of kids today and what they like and all that stuff. I heard somebody say this in Next Generation magazine back when I was like 28, where somebody said the video game industry is a young person's game. And I remember being 28 at the time, and I didn't really care about it. I'm like, whatever, I'm a young person. It doesn't hit my radar. But as I've gotten older, the idea of being a 48-year-old dude trying to appeal to a bunch of 13-year-olds, I mean, I have no problem chalking up to the fact that maybe my last few games haven't been as successful because I'm like, what the fuck do I know about what a 13, 15, 16-year-old kid wants? Mm-hmm. I don't want to know what a fucking 13, 15, 16-year-old kid wants. That would be fucking creepy. So I agree with you. Games have changed. And maybe that's why I find myself playing more retro shit. I don't know.
Yeah, we got to get you off that Atari that Atari 2600. We got to bring you in the modern times, brother. You gotta,
right.
You gotta. You be playing some of these.
Look, I play the new shit, but the new shit is all surface over substance.
Hey, bro, you're such an artiste, man. This is.
I'm not a fucking artiste.
Man. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah,
I'm absolutely not a fucking artiste. I like to be entertained. I like to escape. I like silly bullshit. But end of the day, if all you're gonna do is hit me with graphics that already look better on my fucking PC anyway, what the fuck do I care? It's like fucking entertain me. It's like, seriously, you want to own that shit? You want to own the definition of not being an artist and going, no, Jaffe, it's all about entertainment. That's fucking great. But you're not going to entertain me by showing me fucking flashy graphics. I just saw every goddamn Marvel superhero from my childhood at the end of Avengers Endgame on the goddamn screen in a single shot. Mm-hmm. It's going to take a lot to fucking impress me. Games need to be trying to impress people with what makes them special as a medium, which is interactivity. I don't need you fucking special, sexy graphics. I get that every goddamn day everywhere else. Okay. Floyd, I'm going to read the super chat from Floyd Mayweather. $5. Thank you so much for the super chat. He says, Jaffe, God of War 2018 won my thing because of how Kratos' approach, taking how you think Jesus Christ, God damn it. You got the same problem in your chat that I got in mine. Nobody uses punctuation. Nobody uses commas. I'm going to read this motherfucking chat as written, and you tell me what the fuck
you gotta read what the Lord Bonnie's. They say, hey, yo, dig my man. Me here.
No, this is what he wrote.
Me your job told, Jaffe.
God of War 2018 wasn't really my thing because of how Kratos approached taking how you think the original product would have fared if not shot down by Yoshida. I don't know what the fuck you're saying. I appreciate the $5, but what the fuck's he saying?
All right, that Corey Borlaug, we'll play this God of War Ascension. Cause you had God of War 3. Basically, you fucking killed Zeus, right? In my opinion, and I'm a huge God of War fan. Speaking from a fan's perspective, not the business side. If Ascension would have came out before God of War 3, it wouldn't have been an issue, nor would it have been a problem. But you have this climax of you brutally Kratos is this badass. The brutal killing. What's the fast guy? Pegasus cut off his feet, and Hercules was your half demi brother.
Yeah, Hermes.
Yeah, whatever the hell, beat his goddamn face in, and you kill fucking Zeus. So where do you go for that? I won't say it was a cash grab or whatever the hell. They put a prequel to something else. Because you got different times, different gods. And so I think, in my opinion, like if they would have, if Ascension would have came out before God of War 3, it wouldn't have been a problem. But even Corey Borlaug did an interview, whatever the case, because God of War 3, like Ascension, the last one, didn't really set the game. I liked it. Didn't set the gaming world on fire. He had something in place, whatever the case, and Yoshida said, "Hey, no, this is not it. Take it back to the drawing board." And a lot of people, I say quote unquote diehard God of War fans, were no jump button. Now you have a protagonist. Now Kratos is a babysitter, and I liked it. You got to see a different, even though he wore the ashes of his family on his body, whatever. You got to see a more softer, more softer side of Sears, might I say. You know what I mean?
That's right.
I liked it. Don't get me wrong. I never really played God of War, in my opinion, for the story, even though it was there. It was just for over the top comedy, and your little sex scene there too. That was what it was all about there. But with this one, it brought me in. Then you find out your son is Loki, and you killing. I liked it. To me, it was my. But some people, truly, they didn't I guess connect with them. I thought it was. Here's like this: to make it more modern, and make it more relevant, you have to. And this is the same way where I find with Gears and Halo and the thing that Microsoft has. And it's not even some console war shit. Sony, if you don't know, Sony get teased for having what you call these, the Xbox guys say these one and dones, right? Story driven games, one and done. When Xbox said, you know what, we're the king of Xbox Live and multiplayer, you get to play them for hours. But if we're going to be honest here, Microsoft multiplayer games, what they're known for, didn't go up in prestige, right? They didn't. It's a fact. Halo is not as popular as once one, and I'm a huge Gears of War fan. Gears of War is nowhere as popular as once one. Only thing they went for on the multiplayer side has went up was the Forza series, and I'm not really into car game. But as far as Sony, Uncharted is as popular as it's ever been. Of course, God of War is more popular than it's ever been. You know what I mean? And they have ascended, whereas Microsoft with the Halo and the Gears, they nothing. So they have to do games. I'm not talking about that demographic between 13 to 18 to quote unquote maybe still stay true to themselves without completely out there selling their ass on broad market and how you say and adapt a younger because we're dying. I may be dead tomorrow from collection. I'm a person of color, high blood pressure. You know what I mean? I might get pulled over. I might be gone, and you got sneak peek. You know what I mean? You never know. So we're last of a dying breed when you have younger gamers. That's not how you say connected to any ecosystem. Don't care how they consume their media, and or they outnumber us, fucking 10-1. You know what I mean? We're dying off, and they're being born. And there's so many kids that let me get too long with. There's so many kids that's going to be their first console this holiday season. 7 to 8 is going to be the Xbox or the PlayStation 4. You understand what I'm saying? So this is all new to them. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I get that. But are you basically asking? Are you? I mean, if you're asking me, do I think they made a mistake transitioning God of War to where it is now? Look, all you have to do is look at the sales figures from God of War 3 to God of War Ascension, and they were absolutely right. If they would have just done that with the shinier coat of paint, I don't know if Sony Santa Monica would still be there. The vast majority of people look at the new God of War and say it's the game of the generation, and it's a great fucking product. I haven't fucking played it. It's not my God of War, but that wasn't the criteria. So people who actually think, anybody who says Shuhei Yoshida, if that's what Floyd was talking about, and Floyd, if you're fucking still watching, I hope you know. I hope you know I'm fucking with you. He know. All right. Yeah, he may not know me. I'm just like, dude.
We could have.
Okay, but I mean, if you're basically saying Shu sent them back to the drawing board, I think anybody who ran Sony or ran software would have done the same goddamn thing, because all I have to do is look at the sales figures and go, this isn't working anymore. People have grown up. They've moved on. They're looking for something different. I don't personally like a softer Kratos, but I think there's millions of people that love that shit. So I think that's Shu has always proven himself to be an incredibly prescient, smart executive, and I think all you got to do is look at the sales and you would know why they had to make some kind of change. So Phantom's asking, how do you go from Mickey Mania to Twisted Metal? Look, man, it's like anything else. When I was at Sony, I was desperate to get my foot in the door, and Disney comes a calling and says, "Hey, Sony, do you guys have anything for Mickey Mouse's 65th birthday?" It could have been Hello Motherfucking Kitty, and I'm serious, and I would have been like, "What do you need, man? Whatever you fuckers need, I am there, because I want in this business, and I want in this business." Hey, man, give my
brother respect this man for his fucking honesty. God damn.
Well, yeah, and then after that, they said, "Okay, now Jaffe, you've got freedom. You've earned freedom. What do you want?" I'm like, "Well, let's do stuff that's really vibing with me, like Twisted Metal."
Mm-hmm.
So
that was your first project, Twisted Metal?
My first project was Mickey Mania.
Well, I'm sorry, outside of Mickey Mania, after that was
yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So and then just you have some success, you earn some freedom. They give you some more chances, more rope to hang yourself. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, mine is the story so far of a guy who got so much rope he did hang himself. I had all the freedom in the world by the end of my career working with Sony.
And when was that? What year was this?
That was a couple years ago. That was Drawn to Death, where they're like, "Hey, make whatever the fuck you want, Jaffe." And I'm like, "Here you go. It's Drawn to Death, fresh out of the oven. What do you think?" Mm-hmm. And it's like, "Oh, okay. Well, that didn't sell worth shit."
Yeah. Hold on. Let me get some of these bills here. Let me go bring up the stream messaging app. All right. Let me refresh the page here. I'm sorry. Get you guys involved here. Also, too, like I said, I opened up Loots. If you guys want to drop the free messaging app. We got here. We got Flavor of the Phantom Kraken. What's up? How do you go from Mickey Twisted Metal? We got that one. Z, you missed some super chats. Xbox is dog shit. Okay, I'm sorry. They didn't pop up. Okay. Much love. Playing around. Much love, guys. Y'all are putting all the console war propaganda to rest. let us enjoy both Xbox and Sony, and they provide us. Okay, shout out to you. Twisted Metal Black was the shit. Sony Profit. Jaffe. God of War wasn't really much. We read that about how Craig's approach taking how you think of the original product wouldn't have fared. We got that one. My man Johnny Gazelle. He says, how do you go from Mickey Main? We read that one. Z, you missed some super chat. Xbox is dog shit. Okay, you're absolutely right. And my brother SS9 Vagina. Great show, guys. Taze the Maze. Zeus, your son has returned. Bring the destruction of Olympics. My brother again, Floyd Mayweather. Jaffe, what's your top 5 games of all time?
All right. Well, first, Sony Profit, thank you for the kind words about Twisted Metal Black. I appreciate that. Very nice on behalf of all of us who made it. Dude, I don't know, Floyd. My top 5 games of all time, I'm really bad at things like that. I'll name you some games, but just like I think game award shows, even though I think like Keeley's show is good and everything, but I think award shows are fucking stupid. Top 5, top 10 list, I don't fucking really know. I can tell you that, here's what I'll say. I'm going to give you my top 5 modern games because I could give you a bunch of games I grew up with, like Adventure on the 2600, but that's all nostalgia talking. That's just me looking back and going, that was my first ever big adventure game, and I fell in love with it. So the last 5-6 years, I love Dead Space 2. I played that recently, fell in love with that fucking game. I think Marvel vs. Capcom. What was the one before Infinite? I played the shit out of that game. I love that game. I don't fucking know. I'm drawing a blank. Eco. I love GoldenEye. That's more than 10 years. I don't know. Z, let me ask you. When people ask you, what are your top 5 favorite movies? What are your top 5 favorite games? Maybe it's an age thing. I always draw a fucking blank.
My top 5 games are Spin the Bottle, Catch a Girl, Get a Girl. I don't know. Shit. Video games, God of War 3. I honestly, God of War 3.
Okay.
Top 5. I liked another little game that really stuck out to me. The first Gears. First time I played that
Yep.
running up it's kind of dated now. It run up the stairs, the camera behind you, and you get that first chainsaw kill. That sticks out in mind to me.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I don't know if you ever played it. Dante's Inferno.
I know of it. I know of it, but I never played it.
I'll send you a copy. I got one of you can have mine.
All right.
Because it's crazy. During that time, and I'm a little late. The first God of War that I really ever played was 3, and then I went back because what happened was Xbox 360 came out, and I was a huge Xbox Live. I was a big PlayStation fan. Then Xbox Live came out, and I can talk. Just knowing my colorful my colorful personality. I can sit in my house and pop shit. I ran into some of the most racist motherfuckers, and I was the first person of color. Literally, I was a beta tester on Xbox. Not saying you didn't have any black people, but I was black, right? And the shit I would go through. I mean, it's funny now. I'm still friends with some of these guys. Shout out to my man White Boy Thor. He said, "Z, how do you starve a nigga? What do you mean? How do you starve a nigga? What do you mean? Fuck you. This, that, and the other. Hide their food stamps under the soap." Man, when I heard that shit right there, fucking tickled me.
Was the guy who said that white or black?
He was white dude. You know what I mean? But
Jesus.
My gamer tag is Ziam. It's always been my name. But I would put some cheese on you, cracker, every fucking match before the match start. That's what it was. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? Of course they got guidelines, but that shit was raw and fucking brutal. I can just sit in my house. You sit in your house, and I'm friends with some of these guys to this fucking day. You know what I mean? But it sticks out to me for gaming. Like I said, I never been into PC. I was always a console guy. But if we're gonna say games, or can I say moments? Playing online, talking shit. That's one to me. Running around. We were listening about Midtown Madness, just talking shit in Midtown Madness, running around, and popping shit. Resident Evil. Even though I hated those fucking controls. I don't know what the fuck engine. That's one thing I hated about Resident Evil. You be running fucking sideways trying to get to that fucking door with that shotgun and them fucking dogs. I would die more like that. Just fucking trying to get to a fucking door and the dogs biting me. Like, that engine was dog shit. Whatever the fuck they use. I liked it now that there's more you can free move. But some of you guys don't know what I'm talking about. trying to get through a fucking door and a fucking Doberman pigeon's trying to bite your ass, you would die so many fucking times because the engine, you move like in a square or something. Like, I hated that shit there. So what I got, what's that, 3? So we got, I say God of War 3. I'm going to say, I liked it also. Heavenly Sword, I liked that game a lot. Dante's Inferno was 3. If I can, by chance, add Xbox Live into it, it's not a game. That's did a lot for me and just overall, even what you have now, just popping shit online. 4 and 5, that did a lot. Oh my god, Gears of War. Gears
Okay.
of War. Gears. Oh,
Okay,
I like
cool.
the Fable. No, I like the Fable. I gotta take Xbox Live out of there. I was a huge Fable fan.
See, I don't know if there's something missing in my brain, like the fact that you can rattle those off so
it's
eloquently.
called Adderall.
It might be because I struggle. I play so many games, so many movies, so many TV shows, read so many books, and I struggle to go, what are my top 5? But those are some good top 5s, absolutely.
Oh,
Let me get these super chats. Can I get these super chats?
Go.
All right, Beats Games Life says, Jaffe, who greenlit Drawn to Death at Sony. I don't want to give out names because maybe the guy is going to be like, fuck you, don't fucking throw me under the bus. But it was a great executive who's still there. I'm not going to give you his name. We appreciate the super chat, but it didn't seem appropriate for me to sit there and tell you what his fucking name is. But a really nice, wonderful executive at Sony who has presided over some of the biggest hits Sony has ever made. So I'll tell you something. I hope you know this. In order to fucking hit home bat, and they swing the bat a lot at Sony, and sometimes you miss, and we missed like a motherfucker on that game. Jaffe, if Xbox asked you to do a AAA game, would you? Says Show On. Yeah, it depends. I mean, when you say AAA game, that would not be my first major thing I would care about. But to tie your question to Phantom, Kraken, Aka, I can't say it, goddammit.
Johnny Gazelle.
Yeah, he says, Jaffe, if Spencer calls you to make a new exclusive IP, would you work with Microsoft? What game would you make? So to mix those together, I would absolutely work with Microsoft if they would have me and have a team that I would want to work with them to put together. I love Xbox. I love Game Pass. I am a total agnostic when it comes to all this console war bullshit. As for what it would be, I would love to do an exclusive game on either PlayStation Now or obviously we're talking Xbox on Game Pass. I would love to do something like their version of Stranger Things or House of Cards, something that's built from the ground up to launch exclusively on Game Pass. Doesn't cost as much as AAA, but it's really commercial, really cool. I probably would want to do a first-person horror game if I had that great opportunity. Majin God Goku gives $2 super chat. Thanks so much for that, sir. Eli Parker just wants us to say, hey, Uncharted, thanks for the super chat. It's a great fucking series. Let me rephrase that. It was a great fucking series. It's still a great fucking series, but I lost interest after Golden Abyss. A lot of people love Lost Legacy. A lot of people love Uncharted 4. I could not vibe with those fucking games, but a lot of people loved them. Kugats, is this right? Kugatsu with the massive $50 goddamn super chat. Jesus Christ, sir, that's generous. Thank you very much. He says, Jaffe, thank you for giving us Kratos. You are welcome on behalf of all of us who gave you Kratos. It wasn't just me, but you are very welcome. He says, Z, thank you for giving me some good laughs. I'm just showing mad love for 2 of my favorite content creators. I love these collabs. Keep them coming. Kugatsu, that's super fucking generous, man. $50 goddamn. I appreciate that. I don't want to speak for Z, but can't imagine that he doesn't. The Ruham says $10. Great show, guys. Thank you very much, sir. Much appreciated. Sony Prophet says, is Twisted Metal dead or can it still make an appearance in the future? I think the IP of Twisted Metal is absolutely not dead. Somebody made a great video the other day that I just saw that was like mixing all the end movies of Twisted Metal, and I was going, my God, there's a really cool fucking IP here in Twisted Metal that still can be mined by Sony. But I think a traditional card combat only game, unless a publisher comes along like 505 Games and says, hey, Sony, let's co-publish this, we'll pony up $8 or $9, $10 million. I cannot see them ever doing that shit. It
would have to be in the essence of a Rocket League.
And that would cost about $8 to $10 million.
If that, it would have to, like, I don't, like, let's be honest. Like when the Xbox guys say, "Hey, bring back Microsoft," games like that wouldn't fare well in today's market. That's what you say niche. Should you look what Shamu just went through? Like, I mean, wasn't they? My God, I want to get your thoughts on this too. We're gonna feel the topics. When Sony drunk that motherfucker on stage, everywhere I go, people asking about Shamu. I didn't know who the fuck that guy was. You know what I mean? And Yoshida gave 30. What should he gave a $20 goddamn thing for the fucking GoFundMe page? I wish Sony would have got behind it and gave us a true successor to Shenmue, another of a Kickstarter thing. You know what I mean? Because I ain't gonna lie, Shenmue at the time, that was something. And maybe get your opinion on this. That was like one of the games. There wasn't a big commercial success, but that was something totally different. Third person open world, side jobs. We never had a game like that. You know what I mean? Like that was one of the then they bankrupted Sony from what I was hearing. Not so much Sega was never done like that. Then you had the 1 and 2. They re-released them on the original Xbox. But what's your thoughts about that? You know, even like taking a classic cult hit or following like Shenmue, and then even in today's way, like I said, missing out like on the mainstream of gaming. You think it's because they low budget with the budget, or it's just not his time anymore?
Are you talking specifically about Shenmue?
Yeah, because remember Sony? What was it? E3 2015. They drug that motherfucker on stage, sobered him up. Everywhere I go, people ask me about. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? I ain't Shenmue 3 and again, like the hype. The council, well, Sony, yeah, we got Shenmue 3, and they wasn't even really back in the game. And then they gave it, that cheap motherfucker gave his donation, was like $19 or some shit for the Kickstarter.
It's fucking nostalgia, man.
Yeah. But here's the thing, though, which is crazy. Nintendo's able to get away with this shit and sell it and resell it and resell it and resell it.
No, that's not, I don't think that's fair to Nintendo. You have to distinguish between the intellectual property, which you're absolutely right. They're constantly going back to the intellectual property well of Mario, Zelda, Donkey Kong, what have you. But the games continue to evolve and continue to be relevant and new. But Shenmue, and I didn't even play it, my understanding of Shenmue 3 is it would be basically like people say, Jaffe, people tell me every day, Jaffe, all I want is another Twisted Metal. Just give me Twisted Metal 2, give me online, make it HD. That's what the fans want. They assure me that's what the fucking fans want. And they may be right, but the number of people that actually would count themselves as fans of that, just like with Shenmue 3, really are not the mainstream gaming audience that you need in order to make your money back. And so I think Shenmue 3, for people who adored Shenmue 2, they were pretty happy with it. But if you were just an average gamer off the street going, oh, Shenmue, this is that thing that made waves at the Sony press conference, I'll play it. You're like, what the fuck is this? Because it played like a game from 1999.
Yeah. That is true also. You got a question here for you. I have my favorite. Besides my man, Mr. Parker, said, if you only can keep one.
Oh, I saw this fucking question.
Naughty Dog or Sony Santa Monica. I love Sony Santa Monica.
That motherfucker's not paying us enough in chat to answer a question that tough. That's a tough, dangerous question, and you're asking for $2. You want me to burn my career bridges more than I already have for $2 fucking dollars? Fine, I'll do it just for you, Parker. Let me think.
I'll give you an example, right?
Yeah, you go first.
I know because I already got it was just recent. I don't know if you've seen it. They gave The Last of Us game of the decade, right? So
they did.
So The Last of Us came out in 2013, the end of 2013, right? So I have to put it in there with God of War. And I know here's my put the flow. I didn't finish The Last of Us. To me, it came on hot and heavy with the story and the car crash and it pulls at your heartstring. Then about 2 hours in the game, I'm still fucking sticking around in buildings and with flashlights, and I kind of fell asleep. Maybe even at the height of my addiction. I don't know. I got shot a few times. I had popped about fucking 3 Oxycontins and had a fentanyl patch. I fell asleep on this shit. You know what I mean? But with God of War, hey, love me from honesty. Rip my flaws on Front Street. God of fucking War. When it comes on, like if that first you have yet to play it, right? No, you have yet to play God of War yet? The new one?
No, I was laughing because I'm like I could back of the Last of Us box. It's like puts drug addicts to sleep. The Last of Us.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well, yeah, I was going. I'm gonna be honest, but I'm gonna get and play it again, right? But I don't know if you play God of War.
No, I have not played the new God of War. I have a copy.
We got to get that strain popping. We got to get sponsor that strain. We got to find some sponsors. We're gonna bring in Nabisco, Coke, We're gonna get David Jaffe. He's Bob Dylan. We're gonna get his old ass here. They fucking play the new God of War, right?
That's right. That's
but
right.
when it comes on, you've seen some of the cutscenes and Boulder knocking on the door. Now for just I'm a big history guy. Kratos is a much older god than they are, right? And he knocks on. I heard the legends of the old, like legends. I thought you'd be much bigger, much stronger, and knocking on the door. Doom, doom, leave my home. I didn't even know fucking Kratos was that fucking strong. He picks up and throws a mountain. He breaks the goddamn mountain in half. And it doesn't see. When I say, in my opinion, The Last of Us. Besides, some of the controls were kind of shitty. The game and the AI, but it takes you on this high. Right? And it doesn't really drop off. You got the action, then you still got the story. There's consequences of killing a god. How do you know? Like, and people were down and didn't play it because now Kratos has this protagonist. Come to find out he's fucking Loki. He's a fucking badass fucking serial fucking killer his damn self. Like, to me, it was just fucking epic how they tie all that in together, right? And other people say, well, see, the story of The Last of Us is better. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. If that's the case, I don't know if you played Detroit Become Human.
Yeah, I did.
Listen, I've never been into Telltale games, but that right there pulled at my heartstrings, and especially the domestic violence part. I couldn't wait to kill that motherfucker.
Look,
right?
I have said, even though I do not most of David Cage's games, I have said that the actual story, not the game, but the story in Detroit Become Human,
yes,
out of all the games that Sony owns the IP to, that would make the best movie.
Bro, listen, like I said, I'm a God of War fan. Boy, look at my statue, right? I maybe got more from playing that game there and the whole Black Lives Matter, Robot Lives Matter. I was like, yay, you know what I mean? And they rush at the end, and the black guy, the big slave black guy died. I heard there are multiple endings where people don't have to die. Oh, he died, the black guy, at the end in the boat. But that right there did a lot for me. But in my opinion, if I had to choose the two, I never really been big. I never been really big on the Uncharted series. I didn't like the comedic stuff. But what little did I about to go back and play 4? I got a brand new copy from None of Your Business sent me. Got hit with a, hey David, Jaffe, you know what a 5-finger discount is?
It's somebody steals shit, right?
Yeah, at the height of my addiction, someone stole
I'm from the streets. I'm from the streets of suburbia, Alabama.
Someone stole my copy of Uncharted 4, so I never got the chance to finish. But when I played, action, I enjoyed 4 more than I did with than the other ones. But hear me out. If I had to choose the two, I'm being honest with you, I much prefer Sony Santa Monica, just the way they did with God of War 4. You know what I mean? Because honestly, no one was checking for after Ascension.
Okay, let me ask you this. So Parker's question is interesting because he doesn't distinguish between, am I making an executive decision or am I making a decision about what I want, right? So if I'm a Sony executive, I choose Naughty Dog because Naughty Dog currently they make more money. They have 2 of the top PlayStation first-party games of all time with Uncharted and The Last of Us. They clearly are tapped into the zeitgeist of what console gamers want in this day and age. And they have shown themselves to be pretty versatile in terms of going from, even though I know a lot of people have had a lot of turnover, from Crash to Jack to Last of Us to Uncharted. I think if you are an executive and you had to make that Sophie's choice, you would go with Naughty Dog. For me personally, I don't really vibe with the Naughty Dog type of games. They're not for me, and I would go with Sony Santa Monica. So it depends on if I'm looking at it with the Sony executive hat or if I'm looking at it from a David Jaffe gamer hat. David Jaffe gamer hat would go Sony Santa Monica, every day and 5 days or 5 times on Sunday.
All right. All right, hold on. This here, let me answer this on the free messaging app. Also, to guys, if you want to be a part, help support the show, won't cost you a dime. We got the Loots thing. We have a free messaging app here. From definitely not the Drake Cord. Jaffe, what do you think of Weapon Wheels podcast members calling you out for saying it was a boring podcast and you hitting the beeline, exiting the stage left?
So that was, I don't think, now again, I don't know the whole cast of characters. My understanding is there's somebody called what the fuck's this guy who's always stirring up shit? The Crumb Side or the Drake Core? I don't fucking...
I've been making games for 25 years. What is this Crumb Side shit? Yeah, the Crumb Side.
Right. So that's the guy, my understanding, it was stirring shit up. My take on the Weapon Wheel podcast was they invited me on. I thought the guy was a nice fellow. I had and have no issues with him. I know some people do, but he says, "Hey, Jaffe, you want to come on?" And I'm like, "Yeah, fuck it, sure. Let's have a conversation." I'm always open to talk to people.
And so what happened when you got there? It was I know you don't really care for the fanboy shit.
We talked a little bit, and they just really wanted to talk a lot about things like teraflops and hardware and this and that and the other. It's like, yeah, it's not really interesting to me, but I'll kind of hang in there. And after we got off that topic, it wasn't like an interview or anything. It was just I was one of the cast characters on that show, and they were talking about a bunch of stuff that I was kind of bored by. And that wasn't disrespect to them. If you're really into the game Control, for example, which is what they were talking about when I exited stage left, you would have loved it. They were really articulate. They were into the game. They'd all played the game all the way from beginning to end multiple times. I was just like, you know what? This is probably going to go on for another hour and a half. I have shit to do. Mm-hmm. Thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it, and I hope you guys have the rest of a great stream.
You had to go meet this crack dealer. Fuck those guys.
It wasn't disrespectful. It was just like, okay, I've done all I need to do, and I'm going to move on.
We got a few more bills. Hold on, I got a few. Hold up, $10 from Rob. You saying Rob the Rob? I get it. Thanks for rocking out with Next Gen, a true underdog. All of the other big guys shied away from him, but you kept it real. Salute to you, bro. Salute. Shout out to you. Thank you for the kind words, good friend.
Wait a minute. So Next Gen or Z, you're telling me who shied away from you?
They listen. They turned their back on me, man. They left me astray. You know
who?
I'm responsible for everyone's career here on the Crumb side. Yeah.
What is the Crumb side?
Well, you ever seen the RDX podcast?
The what?
RDX podcast.
No.
Okay, fuck me either, right? But you had the dealers, the Colts, even the other guys. Shout out those guys, the BGST, Mooch, and Crap. And those guys, you know, those were all the most popular podcasters today. Were all my fucking, you know, doing. And they want to go off and do their own thing, fine. But, you know, I guess they thought, hey, check it out, Dave. Maybe check this out. Maybe it's not the content of the character, my character. Maybe they said it was the color of my skin. I was holding them back. I drunk out of the wrong guy.
Were these black guys or white guys?
No, they were white. Trust me, they were white. They were really, I mean, some strong white Christian brothers, Anglo-Saxon. They said maybe my black ass was keeping them back. You know what I mean? I don't fucking know.
You should have been working with an ex-Jew like me. That was your fucking mistake.
Listen, man, that's the get out of jail card. You got to keep one of those in the back pocket. I'm trying to tell you, man. But nah, shout out. Hey, Rob, it's cool, brother. I'm gonna do me regardless, and thank you guys that have been rocking out and supporting me and the grind. And again, I'm not just saying it, and I'm foolish. I always say that my integrity is in question. Thank you. Like I said, the best is yet to come, and I have a lot of stuff planned, and you know, for 2020 and beyond. I'm just getting started. Shout out to my brother. This is my motherfucking brother, Canolius King. Good goddamn show, bro. I told you I'm working, and thanks to guys like him who always believed in me, pledged the highest thing on what do you call it, on my Patreon, $50. When I got shot 3 times, he was one of the ones that reached out to me. Hey Dave, I be going through. My life was like a fucking movie. You ever play Grand Theft Auto San Andreas?
Oh yeah.
That's my black ass. You know, I'll be going through it. You know what I mean? But shout out to you. That's my motherfucking brother. Sony Prophet. He says here, any tidbits or insight info that you can give us on the Black Charted 5 new IP? Black Charted 5 new IP? I never even heard it. Is it Uncharted 5 new IP? I never heard of Black Charted new IP. Hold on, we got some more. Any information about that inside information? You heard of Black Charted?
I've never heard of Black. I think he's fucking with you. Black Charted?
Oh, Uncharted 5, maybe, yeah.
How the fuck is your autocorrect? I know nothing about a new Uncharted. I'm sure actually, that's not true. I know some, but I certainly can't. I can't tell you what I know, mm-hmm. and I don't know enough. Let me just put it this way. If they actually go through with what a bunch of people are saying online, which is, hey, Nathan Drake's story is done. I think they're a bunch of fucking morons. I think Sony has a cash cow in Nathan Drake. Yeah. And if you're fucking Jim Ryan and you got some fucking arty-farty people coming to him and going, well, Jim, we've already told the story of Nathan Drake and we think it's time to move on because his arc is complete. if from what I understand about Jim Ryan is true, Jim Ryan will be like, motherfucker, tell it again. That's like having The Rock and going,
I said that, yeah.
Nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit if the arc is done. Do it again. So but I don't really know the specifics of what's happening.
All right, we got some more. Hold on, this is fun. We got here. Big Dog Jaffe. You think that a ramped Twisted Metal wouldn't sell units, or do you think one of those top studios from Xbox or PlayStation can do it justice?
I think the problem with Twisted Metal is if you make it a big budget title that would be basically Grand Theft Auto in the Twisted Metal universe. I think the Twisted Metal universe is a B movie universe in the very best sense. And I think it has always had a hard time, even when it was, believe it or not, there was a time when Twisted Metal 2 and Twisted Metal Black were AAA titles in terms of how the market looked at them. Yes. We could not get traction out of America. So for Sony to spend the money, 80, 90, $100 million to make a full-on next-gen Twisted Metal that would appeal beyond just car combat fans, you would have to figure out how do you deal with the fact that the conceptual brand of Twisted Metal has always been American-centric and niche at that. And so I think it would be a real struggle.
Question, all right, and to I know we touched on the last time I spoke to you. What was considered a success back then as far as game sales?
Dude, let me fucking tell you, it'll make your fucking head spin. We could almost fund. I'm being hyperbolic, but we could almost fund Twisted Metal 1 with what you've made in Super Chat tonight, right? And that's not true, but we spent $850K on Twisted Metal 1. That game sold for about $40, $45 at retail, and that game sold at that price over 1 million fucking copies, right? So when you think about return on investment back in the day, it was absolutely insane in terms of what AAA used to be, and what was a success. I mean, I remember sitting there looking at sales going, man, and this is back before PlayStation even launched, and a success was any game that sold over 100,000 units. And it was like, wow, do you think we could really sell? I remember asking marketing, do you think we could really sell over 100,000 copies of Twisted Metal? And everybody was like, we don't know, that's going to be tough. And then suddenly these games start selling over 1 million. And it was fucking crazy. But success used to be 100,000. We used to do all of our budgets based on a hit was 100,000 units. And then the whole fucking game got flipped. When PlayStation came out and so many people bought it, it was like, shit, we're selling in the millions. This is crazy.
Hold on. I think I missed some. I think we got is Twisted Metal Dead, we're still making an appearance in the future. Sony profit. So it's Floyd Mayweather. Jeffy, what's your thoughts on classic games being remade? Have you diehards? You have the diehards who don't want change. You have people that want improvements and remakes necessary, or remakes necessary. Jeffy, what's your thoughts on classic games being remade? Yeah, you have diehards who don't want change, and you have people that want improvements or remakes necessary.
Nothing's necessary, but I think you have to distinguish between remakes and remaster, right? If you're saying are remasters, like I said earlier, I played Dead Space for the first time in my life last month. Jesus. And what happened?
You played Dead Space last month?
Dead Space 2, because I played Dead Space 1 when it came out, and I didn't like it. And I'm like, I'm never going to play Dead Space 2. And then I saw Dead Space 2 was on sale for like $5 goddamn on Steam, and people were telling me for years, dude, Dead Space 2 is the shit. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm looking for something to stream. Let me try this. And I played it, and it's been one of my favorite games of all fucking time. So if somebody said, hey, we're going to remaster this, even though I think the graphics were great and totally hold up, I'd be like, yeah, that would be really fucking cool. But when you're asking Floyd about remakes, not remasters, I mean, dude, here's what I think. The answer is if you run the numbers and you can sustain the broadside of the Nostalgia Brigade where they basically beat the fuck out of you on the internet, like you're seeing what happened with Star Wars, like you're going to see with SOCOM if they remake a SOCOM. I think if the numbers show that even though you're going to get hit by that, you can still make a lot of money because you think the brand is viable for new gamers and people who are old school gamers who still like what you're doing to change it, then I think it's absolutely viable. But if you look at Star Wars Rise of Skywalker has made over $1 billion.
Yeah.
For what a lot of people think about that movie, and I think it was fun but terrible. Ultimately, they made a good business decision. But you have Star Wars fans who fucking hate it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you look at the numbers and it's like, you know what, we can live through the fact that you're going to have a lot of old school people who hate this shit and they're public about it. If the numbers run, then I think you should do it. But there are some games that are so niche that if you take something like Klonoa, or if you take something like Tomba, or if you take something like Destruction Derby and you try to make it and you leave out the hardcore fans, that may not sustain financially because you need those hardcore fans for titles that were successful but weren't big fucking hits. So it's a hard. Every game is different and every decision is different. It's hard to articulate because it depends on the game you're talking about. But I would just say it's a minefield, and you got to fucking make sure it's worth the risk. Because if you fuck it up, you got to deal with the PR issues.
Shout out to my man Elijah Parker. He be bugging. He said blasphemy on us both. Y'all need to sign. He always talking about signing the contract when you want to fight somebody. My brother, Floyd Mayweather says, Z, you missed my bills. I'm sorry, I went back and got it. Gotta be a legend, my friend. What's going on? He says, salute to your friends, Z and David, for being a man of the people and never getting too big for us ordinary folks. Much as I'm just talking about ordinary, I'm a fucking god. I'm a fucking demigod. The fuck is this guy talking about ordinary? But shout out to my man, Gotta Be a Legend. You guys gotta check out his website. My brother Zim. Zaya had one of the first weekly gaming podcasts on YouTube that I did. They used to tease me, those same Weapon Wheel guys, right? Phil Stones, okay. I mean, they said I had a Corporate Slave podcast. These guys never do a show every Sunday and everyone has a fucking show. You're absolutely right, Zim. Shout out to you. My man Top Cat 7 Jaffe, do you think Ninja Gaiden can make a comeback? That last Ninja Gaiden was dog shit. They got it. What's that? You know what? I'm horrible with names, Jaffe. What was the original guy? Because we're friends on Facebook.
The guy with
they had the problems in tech when they let him go. What the fuck was his name?
It was Itagaki or
the guy. That guy was a fucking legend. Yeah. But he said, do you think he can make a comeback? Or
I think it can, but again, I wouldn't do it. If you're Tecmo and you own the rights to Ninja Gaiden, the number of people who care about that franchise,
the last one sucked those straight dogs dick. That was
the more you can take those commercial sensibilities and quality of Ninja Gaiden.
The other ones were cool, but just that last one, my God, that was like some Jean-Claude Van Damme shit. I don't know what the fuck that was.
Yeah, there's a guy in the chat right now, Gotta Be Legend, super chat. Thank you for that. He says they need to remake Tenchu. I mean, that's the problem is all this nostalgia, man. Again, executives, everybody has their different take on it, but I would be careful. I would be really careful, being a slave to this nostalgia shit, because all you're doing is setting yourself up for probable disappointment, and you can make a brand new IP with all the same kind of gameplay and shit, but you don't have all the baggage. And, if you're a company that can afford to remake Ninja Gaiden, you can also afford to market your game and sell a new IP to the masses. So I think it depends on the game, but I mean, you can replace Ninja Gaiden in your super chat for any other fucking game that hasn't been on the market for 5 years, and the answer would be the same. It's a minefield, man. If you're willing to walk through and have a bunch of people tell you you're fucking stupid and a moron, you know how many people fucking still hate me over Twisted Metal? Because Twisted Metal 2012, as much as I thought it was great, and a lot of people thought it was great, it wasn't the game the fans wanted. Some of the fans wanted. So we had
what about the lawsuits?
There were no lawsuits for Twisted Metal.
I gave my grandfather vertigo. So I can't put his dog shit. So no, I'm fucking with you, Jabby. Anyway.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, so you got 12-year gap between Twisted Metal Black and Twisted Metal 2012. And suddenly everybody grows up. They grew up playing Twisted Metal Black, and now they think, and they're not wrong, they know what it is. And so a new game comes out, we can't recapture their childhood. Yeah. We can't give them that. That wasn't in the code. That was their life. And we happen to be in the right place at the right time with a good enough game that they imprinted great memories on that software. But we didn't fucking give them a bonding experience with their fucking father playing split screen Twisted Metal. I mean, we did, but it was more about being with your fucking dad playing split screen. And we happen to be right place, right time. There's no way we're going to satisfy that kind of gamer with something new. So I'm always about new IP if you can get it.
Hold on, my man Veteran. Question, Jaffe. Why not sell the license to Rocket League to sell Twisted Medical vehicles with the promise to get royalties on all the content sold on that licensed content to finance a Twisted Metal reboot? Let me ask you a question, because a lot of people, Were the Twisted Metal series ever successful?
Yeah,
A commercial hit.
always. Fuck yeah. Every single Twisted Metal except maybe Small Brawl, but made money. I don't. Maybe the PSP version didn't because the hardware installed base was so low. But yeah, every Twisted Metal I've ever worked on, I've gotten a bonus check on. Absolutely.
All right, my man here, Tage the Mage, Jaffe. Well, we got one.
But wait, let me answer that guy's question. I don't own the rights to Twisted Metal. Sony has given the rights to Rocket League for the Sweet Tooth van for Sweet Tooth, but what they do with it, I mean, I think they could be exploiting that brand, comic books, toys, movies. They are talking about making a TV series after Twisted Metal. They could be exploiting the brand a lot more than they currently are. So I'm with you, man. I think it's a good idea, but it's not mine to exploit. You have to ask Sony that question.
My brother Tage the Mage, PC guy. He said, Jaffe, do you think that PlayStation games will ever make it to PC?
We already got them. We have Detroit Become Human just came out on PC. The first one baseball's coming. Helldivers was the first game I ever remember being a party PlayStation game that went to Steam. If he is he asking basically, do I think this is the beginning of a trend?
Yeah.
And before you know it, we'll see God of War on PC.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me after enough time has passed if they put out God of War on Steam in a month. I'd go, all right, you know what? Actually, no. Let me rephrase that. It depends on if PlayStation Now becomes a PC centric experience. I know that you can mirror your PS4 on your PC, but if PlayStation Now becomes like Xbox Game Pass, where there is a PC version and you don't even need a console, then I would say you will see it like that. But otherwise, if I think my answer would be yes, you would expect to see a lot more PlayStation games on Steam or Epic Game Store, but I think you're going to see a lot of shifts because PlayStation Now is going to have to adjust to compete with Game Pass, and I don't know what that's going to look like. And in which case, you may see all the games on PC, but they will be running through PlayStation Now, the PC version, is what I would say.
All right. Okay. We got to be legend. Said they need to remake Tenchu. What's it? We just had Shadows Die Twice. Maybe it's something in the essence of Tenchu. My brother Ancaster. With today's climate, he said, I think Twisted Metal could be a successful in a service like Game Pass. Your thoughts, Jaffe?
I think you're absolutely right. I think if Sony wanted to say, let's get $5 to $8 million together, let's put it on Game Pass or not Game Pass, let's put it on PlayStation Now as an exclusive. Let's also have hopefully DLC and microtransactions that do not hurt gameplay. It's just cosmetic. And it would be free to play, obviously, because you would have to have the service. I think there could be some success there. But right now, I don't think Sony has the appetite. That's why I keep saying if a smaller publisher came to Sony and said, let us fund it and we'll co-publish it. But I think Sony right now is every time they step up to the plate, those motherfuckers want home runs. What you're describing is probably going to be a single or at best a double unless you get really lucky. And I don't think they're making small bets anymore. I think every bet they fucking place is fucking, putting money down on fucking double sixes on the craps table. That's what they're hoping for.
Okay. SS Nam Vegeta, my brother. He says someone needs to remake Bad Dudes. Are you showing your age there? That's a throwback there. My brother Floyd Mayweather, Jaffe. Thoughts on Square Enix not being sure how many parts Final Fantasy VII Remake is, and people damage controlling that each part is a full-length game, charging $60 for each part. Your thoughts about that?
There's no way to have any real thoughts about it. I mean, ultimately, we don't have any information.
Well, they're breaking it down in parts. It's not going to be...
Yeah, but if they come out...
$60.
I know, but if they come out and say the $60 version of what part 1 is gives you enough value that it's $60, then I think it's great. If it's basically a 3-hour experience, I think it's dog shit and they should be ashamed of themselves. But since we don't know what the definition is yet, all you're doing is speculating. So there's no way I can have an opinion on it.
My brother McNeil J. Chris, what's going on? He said, do you see gas games I don't mean maybe I don't maybe I don't know.
Games as a service.
Games as a service totally taking over the market next generation. I think they didn't took over this generation. Games as a service. But what are your thoughts about that?
I don't think that's the case. I think if you look at Sony first party, they barely have any games as a service unless I mean I know.
Well, I'm saying about games like Fortnite, Minecraft, PUBG.
Right. Well, I think what I'm saying is the market has shown there's space for all of those things. So I don't think it's gonna. I think Sony's gonna get into some games, probably, but I think Sony has come out point blank and said that we're going to stay the course and keep making these single player story based games as well. So far the market is showing that it can sustain at big numbers all of those things, right? So
okay. We got my brother again, gotta be a legend. He said, how do you guys feel about Doom Eternal? I have never played it. I haven't played it.
It's not out yet, but I
haven't played the Doom game in I don't know, forever.
Doom 2016 is the fucking shit. It is amazing. It is fucking phenomenal. And this is the sequel to that. And they just dropped a new trailer yesterday. The trailer's okay, but the gameplay footage from the trailer looks absolutely amazing. So I'm in. I think it's. I think I just bored Z. Z got up and left. No, it's the Jaffe. It's the Jaffe show. Let's talk about anything you fucking want.
I'm here.
No, I'm just kidding.
You were saying Doom, right?
No, Doom's fucking awesome.
Check this out. And I just want to show you. I got a whole bunch of collectibles and shit. When he bid in, he said Doom. They had it on Amazon. Their collector's edition, maybe like last year or something. And I bought it. It was like $20. I still have the code for the game, and I never even booted it up. I believe Doom is on Game Pass also. From not
it is
on Game Pass. So maybe I might give away the code for the game here live.
It is a great shooter. If you haven't played it, Z, I highly.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
It's phenomenal.
I'll check it out. But yeah, it was like $20 for the collector's edition and shit. So, and it came with a steel case. I never opened the game. I like these figurines and stuff. That's why he said as far as Doom. Hold up. Do I got everything? Do we got another one here?
We forgot Von Lamont. Capcom has the best RE3 game of the year.
Yeah, listen, Capcom made they made a comeback this generation.
They did.
It's arguably Monster Hunter put them in a whole new different space. The way that they're supporting it with content, but they came out shaky, of course, with Street Fighter V, and not a lot of content. It was bullshit. They were selling IPs, but they got, some would say, one of the best next quote unquote next generation engines, because Resident Evil 7, then Resident Evil what's that, Remake 2 did phenomenally well for them, and they have 3 coming out. But Von Lamont also says, and this is the bet, if somebody wants to take this bet here, he says that, and he's a Sony guy, that Resident Evil 3, the remake or remaster, will score higher than The Last of Us. You have any thoughts on that?
That's moronic.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But not because it won't be a better game, but because you got to know the press is ready. The press likes to write story. Here's my theory that's based on nothing but experience with the press. I don't actually know this for sure. But fuck it, I'm pissed off at the press today, so I'll fucking say it.
We got to get into that too, yeah.
But they, I always have this thought in my head that these motherfuckers are kind of like my mom and dad. It's like, you're just writing about video games, and it's like, no, art form. We have our Citizen Kane moment in The Last of Us and shit, and so they're gonna come all over that fucking game and say it's the greatest fucking thing in the world. I don't think Vaughn is wrong. I'll probably enjoy Resident Evil 3 more than Last of Us Part 2, and I am kind of looking forward to Last of Us Part 2, even though I didn't love the first one because it looks pretty good from the trailers. Yeah. But I definitely do not think it will outscore it. I think the press is already ready to crown that game the greatest game ever made, the best game of the generation. It is art. It is great. It is brilliant. And by the way, it may very well be, but the press has kind of already showed its hand. They're already in love with that fucking game.
Okay, we got some more here. And all right. My man P. Diddy pop into the Puffy. He said, how can we campaign this Xbox idea for you, Jaffe? What Xbox idea? What do you mean?
You mean me going to make a game?
I guess. Yeah. Cut the check, right? Don't fucking cut the check, right?
Yeah, I mean, hit Phil Spencer up over, ad nauseum on the fucking Twitter and say, give Jaffe or give Jaffe's agent a call and set up a fucking meeting.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I have a couple of meetings set up in LA next month with people. You'd be like, shit, you're meeting with that motherfucker. Things could be happening on the game front. But I'll be honest with you guys. I mean, like Z was saying at the beginning of the stream, I'm not saying this is the case. I have some games I still want to make before I'm done.
Yeah.
But end of the day, I don't like what a lot of modern gamers like right now. I don't like Fortnite. I didn't like The Last of Us, right? I may have been, and I think this speaks as much about me as it does about maybe the current limitations of the medium, but I may have aged out a bunch of this shit. I may just be too fucking old. I don't know if that's true or not, but I don't know if I'm the right guy to be spending $180 million of Microsoft's money to make a fucking AAA fucking game for Series X, because I don't fucking like it.
I have a question for you then, right? And then I'm sorry. Let me read these last 3 super chats, and I'm gonna ask you a question. Then we're gonna get off into your rant. Jaffe, my man, Top Cat. Jaffe, do you think Microsoft is going in the right direction? How do you feel about the Xbox Series X?
So I think just like with Microsoft or Xbox Arcade, which absolutely,
Yes.
and let me tell you something. You guys you do what you want. I'm not like pro Microsoft, anti Sony, or vice versa. I'm a fucking gamer. I was there when the fucking first Pong machine was wheeled into the goddamn bar. Okay, I don't have allegiances to fucking silicone and shit. Silicone, maybe. Anyway, the point is, I don't give a shit who fucking wins. What I'll tell you is, when Xbox Live Arcade dropped, that changed so much that a lot of people still. Let's put it this way: the fact that GameStop just recorded a 25% drop on revenue for Christmas. The seeds of that were planted with Xbox Live Arcade. Then Xbox Live Arcade came along and Steam came along and showed people that digital was a way to consume games and get games and make games that didn't have to be full retail robust titles. Everything started to change. I think Xbox is the same with Game Pass. Game Pass has and will continue to change the game and is going to force Sony to adjust, and we will see that next generation as well. As for Series X, it's confusing as fuck. I don't know how a company as big and qualified as Microsoft is dropping the ball when it comes to their PR messaging.
Yeah.
And I know they're not out of the gate yet, but I think your average consumer, if you ask them what Xbox Series X is, and you're like, well, it's a lot of things. No, it's very confusing. It's super fucking confusing.
I don't. Yeah, unless it's rumored that they're doing a less powerful console, the Lockhart or something. I don't. I don't understand. So that's when you have an Xbox One X, Xbox it. Yeah, I don't understand what that shit there. Maybe more has to be explained. Maybe like they said, rumor is they are coming with a less powerful, console, like a mid,
And I get that I get that they're all going to run for a couple of whatever you have that says Xbox is going to run the games, and that's really cool. Like they're doing that to some extent, but I think when the guy's asking, what do I think about Series X? I don't know which one you're talking about, which version of the hardware, which game. There's too many unknowns right now.
Okay, my man Floyd Mayweather again. Shout out to Floyd. Jaffe, do you consider Souls games its own genre of video games, and do you think the game Bluepoint is working on is a Demon Souls remake? Bluepoint. Remake. Are you into the Souls games?
I appreciate them. I absolutely adored Bloodborne, but they're too hard.
Yeah,
I thought the world of Bloodborne was fucking amazing, just an amazing world to get lost in, but it's too frustrating for me. So do I consider them a subgenre of the action adventure genre? I don't consider them their own genre, but they're a subgenre that sort of birthed Onimusha and things like that, and now in Devil May Cry, and then that gave rise to Demon Souls and Dark Souls and things like that. As for what Bluepoint's working on, I have no idea. It's possible. It would not be a bad idea what you're suggesting, but I have no idea, Floyd.
All right. And one more we got here, the last one, and we can get it off into your rant. Where we are, here we go. Bam. Christian, great show, Jaffe. What are your thoughts on Resident Evil 8? I can't see my eyes are blank. Vigilante 8, really, 8, and I remember fighting with friends, telling them that Twisted Metal was way better. Good old time, Vigilante 8. I'm sorry, I can say it now. That was yeah, and I say, what's your thoughts on Vigilante 8? I remember fighting with friends, telling them that Twisted Metal was a way
Oh,
better game. Good
so
old times.
Vigilante 8,
Yeah.
Christian.
Who made that?
I
Sega? Who was that? Sega?
no, it was Activision,
Activision. Okay.
a company called Luxoflux. So Activision
Okay.
called Interstate 76,
Mhm.
and then they made kind of a console version after Twisted Metal came out, was a big hit that was more arcadey like Twisted Metal. I respected it, and it has its fans. I think they made what I consider, and not everybody will agree, mistake that a lot of people who make car combat games make, which is they actually try to make the cars drive like cars, and the physics, I think, competed with what the player wants to do in a car combat, which is basically an arena shooter, which is have on the nose pinpoint navigation, rotating with zero acceleration, being able to rotate your car in the air, all things that if you're making Vigilante 8, you're like, we're not doing that. A car would never do that. And so I think if you're looking for more of an accurate representation of what car combat might actually be like, Vigilante 8 was your game. But if you're looking for basically an arena shooter that felt more like Power Stone or Mortal Kombat, which is what I love about it, Twisted Metal made a lot more sense. So I respected Vigilante 8, but I never liked to play it because it was too slow and realistic for me.
Okay. All right. Okay. So yesterday, two questions. We went to a lot of chat. Your explosion yesterday on your show,
Yeah.
were aimed at two journalists. What the hell was that about?
I'll tell you what. I'm going to go pee, Z.
Oh shit! Yeah, old man. Yeah.
When I come back,
Yeah.
I'll tell you the story. I'll be right back, you guys.
All right. Jaffe said he had to go pee. Oh man, I told you this motherfucker shoot straight from the hip, man. Hoping, like I said, you guys are enjoying the show thus far. I'm gonna get his thoughts on Sony not coming to E3, and again his fiasco, his, how you say, meltdown maybe, with two journalists. I don't even know what publications they were for. Basically saying they would like to see a Twisted Metal game, I'm sorry, without David Jaffe. And he fucking lost it. He fucking lost. Tag Z in the Discord. Let me go to the Discord. Let me go to my Discord. He fucking lost it. What the hell's going on in the Discord? Detroit became he released to modern times. What's going on in my how you got so much time to play with for kids, so you don't got? It's called Vonnie Moron for their Resident Evil scoring higher than The Last of Us. What's up with that bet? Resident Evil scoring higher than the last 25 hours. What's going on in the Discord? I'm in here now. You niggas better be hating, nigga. Oh, they didn't put swim back in here. Russian ain't bad. I double check. Chill out with it. Hey, hey, Sim. Hey, it's Neverland. Hey, first of all, you don't be supporting, man. And I told you to cool out with them racial overturn. I got 2 emails from Discord, bro. Ain't no chill out. Users to take care of my business. If you can't respect that in the Discord, like, bro, you got to go. And you don't need any support. You got Amazon Prime. You don't even support your brother. You know what I mean? Like, I use this to take care of my business, man. I told you to kill out with the racial stuff and the other type of slurs, and y'all refused to do so. So I'm not gonna have my Discord shut down because you motherfuckers gonna act like 15-year-old kids, man. You know what I mean? That's what that's about.
All right, I'm back.
Okay, you're back. So, purpose. So, 2 journalists said they would love to see a Twisted Metal game made without David Jaffe, not being tainted with your stench all over it of how to drawn or whatever the hell. And
I fucking learned from Review Tech USA the other night on his live. What the word taint means.
Yeah.
I had never heard the word taint before, and he used it, and someone's like, "What the fuck is taint?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's nasty. I don't want to fucking talk about that." But anyway, Look it up if you don't fucking know. I learned so much when I'm streaming. I learned what a blumpkin is. If you're watching, I'm not fucking telling you. If you're watching this stream right now, you go look up Blumpkin on Google. Okay. I thought it was something they sold at the fucking Cracker Barrel. That's not true. That's not what a Blumpkin is. You look that shit up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting to see Z's reaction.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. Blumpkin. Doing it right now. Blumpkin. What is it? BLUMPKIN. Blumpkin. Drink?
It ain't a drink. Well, it could be a drink.
Blumpkin. Vulgar slang, the acrophone fallacious wild reason is the... Oh, Jesus Christ.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I learned that on my stream.
All right, Jesus.
Or Jeff Blumpkin. Anyway, the point is, so... Yeah, so these guys, ex-Game Informer guys, I've never heard of their site. They run a podcast called MinMax Podcast, and I'm doing my live show that I do every day. And somebody says, Jaffe, I think his name was Dante. He says, Jaffe, have you seen what they're talking about you over on MinMax? I'm like, no, I don't give a shit, whatever. He's like, no, Jaffe, you want to see this? So he sends me the link, or he sends me the time code. And they're basically talking about their dream game would be Twisted Metal, but not having me involved. Now, I didn't give a shit about that. You don't have to love me. I don't, as much as I love the shit that I've worked on, I don't need, my ego is relatively heavy, that it wasn't the fact that they were taking the piss going, we want it without Jaffe. It was the fact that these are supposed professional journalists. It wasn't an intellectual discussion about why we think Jaffe's games and Jaffe's sensibilities may not be right for this title anymore, blah, blah, blah. It was a bunch of petty fucking children basically throwing rocks at me, talking about, and basically kind of like, aren't we funny? Our entertainment for our audience is we're going to basically attack another human. Let alone a human that's basically created a bunch of fucking big shit for the industry that they're fucking reporting on. And I was just like, motherfuckers, it just really pissed me off. I mean, underneath it was kind of hurtful. It was kind of like, what the fuck? It's like, I've never done anything to these motherfuckers. I've never been mean. I've never been cruel. And they're just being petty fucking assholes. Mm-hmm. So I laid into them on my stream and I called them out. And then they had the audacity after they saw I was tweeting about them to tweet me and be like, trying to almost like sweep it under the rug and shit. Like, Jaffe, we love your games and thanks for all the hard work. And I'm like, fuck you, motherfuckers. Don't fucking try to fucking come into my good graces now after you fucking publicly insulted me and your dumbass has got caught. Mm-hmm. So I don't like the mean-spirited bullshit that a lot of these fucking people traffic in. Mm-hmm. I like honesty, I like passion, I like people telling the fucking truth. But unless somebody's done something shitty to you, and I've never met these guys, the minute you fucking make that shit personal, I'm going to fucking come after you because fuck you, So that's basically what it was about. It really pissed me off. I don't like this fucking bullshit that's happening. The internet just sort of thrives on this sort of mean-spirited bullshit. I don't fucking put up with it for one fucking second.
Oh, so you so you feel like you say quote unquote feel vindicated. They unleashed the beast. Unleashed the beast.
I don't know about that. I don't know if they even give a shit and it's a job. But let's put it this way. Like I said earlier, I went to my therapist today because I had a bunch of people saying, Jaffe, that was fucking immature. You shouldn't respond that way. Somebody in my stream was saying, Jaffe, you should turn the other cheek and not respond. Be the bigger man. And I have a lot of people telling me that for my entire life. And I'm just like I said to my therapist today, I said, look, man, explain this shit to me. I'm not flying off the handle like I'm out of control. I know what I'm saying. My mental abilities with me as I'm talking. But I don't like the idea that it's like, if you're going to come at me and insult me, the mature thing is supposed to be what? Turn away and just ignore it and act like it doesn't bother me. I'm like, fuck you. It absolutely bothers me. You fucking insulted me and mocked me in my life's work so far. Mm-hmm. And you're basically doing it to your audience of what? I don't know, 600-700 people. Mm-hmm. And I'm supposed to just be like, no, it doesn't bother me. I won't say shit. I'm like, no, fuck you. I will. And it was nice to have a fucking very expensive, I can't believe I pay my therapist what I pay my therapist, say to me, you know, Jaffe, as long as you basically take responsibility for the consequences of it, and as long as you weren't sort of in some kind of subconscious haze where you were flying off the handle and not aware of what you were saying, I think it's fine. So fuck these little assholes over at Min Max. Fucking bullshit. It's like, you know what? If you guys if people want to pay their Patreons, they make a lot of money in Patreon, and that's okay with you, and you want to provide your money to people that are basically entertaining you by making fun of people they don't even know, then that's fucking fine. But I think it's fucking low class and shitty.
We have a super chat directed. You can see it, Sony Profit. The last one directed towards you. Can you see it?
Yeah, we missed one guy though. Sony Profit. Oh, the first, Jaffe. Do you know what Bohica means? That's Phil Spencer and Xbox to their fans. I have no idea what Bohica means. No. The Min-Max guys are nobody, says Sony Profit. Well, yeah, but what does that mean? Everybody's somebody. I'm not going to sit there, you know, and act as if just because you don't have 2 million followers on Instagram, you're not worth hurting my feelings. End of the day, you guys, you know how the shit works. If you get mad at something, underneath that anger is hurt. And look, I'm not going to fucking lie. Do you think it doesn't hurt my feelings a little bit when somebody is thinking about Twisted Metal, a fucking series that I was there with Scott Campbell and we birthed this fucking thing, and somebody's saying we want Twisted Metal, but we want it without Jaffe? You think that doesn't sting a little bit? You goddamn right it stings a little bit. And so I know they're nobodies, but it still fucking hurt my feelings. And you know what? I'm okay with that. It fucking should hurt my feelings. It means I give a shit.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right. One thing I said, we had before we get down, E3 not going to Sony. I'm sorry, E3. Sony not going to E3.
Yeah.
This generation started in 2013. Already 7 years. Traditionally, a normal console life cycle would used to be between 4 to 5 years. And then you got new hardware, right? In my opinion, you may feel different. What happened in the 7th generation to me was very unhealthy as far as tech. I don't like to get into talking as far as the tech, but that was an 8 and 9 year console cycle. You know what I mean? And then you got the PS3, the PS4 and the Xbox One. What, like I said, I guess old tech, you know what I mean? Because normally when console came out, they were right above PC or right on par with PC. But a lot of people some people may say quote unquote feel slighted because they may have gotten their Pro or gotten their X, but those are not new consoles, just made to run what you already have, a little shinier, a little prettier, right? Do you think it's a mistake, or for them we talking about again them not coming to the dance, to the prom with their new $500 machine and them skipping to I don't know, any 100 other events? I don't know any other events besides they haven't done a Gamescom show in a while.
Right. They haven't done PSX in a while.
Yeah, you know, do you think that's a mistake?
No.
Or this new direction that Sony's going in, where a lot of shave-ups, upper management, or whatever the case may be? Like, you don't think that, you know, because I look at it for me, it's me being a fan of the game, but not the business, because I care less about Microsoft money or Sony money. Me just sitting down streaming and a fan of, this is, to me, our Oscars. These are our Emmys. You know, seeing the show. I miss the days of Nintendo going out there competing with a powerful console with the GameCube or even the Nintendo 64. Them all three out there lobbying for our dollars. And me just being a fan, I'm not going to lie, it's a little disappointing to me, them not being there. And I've never been to E3 before, and I said, you know what? I didn't go last year because I got shot 3 times, so I couldn't get on a plane, get blood clots, and she's like, you know what? I'm going to go this year. And I don't like to fly. Maybe I take a cross-country trip, and Sony's going to be there with their new console. Microsoft is going to be on there. They're going to be doing, and it was exciting to me. To me, I'm not going to lie. It's not an Xbox or versus a console war thing. I'm just a little disappointed. I'm going to ask you, do you think this is maybe the Sony of the old getting cocky? Hey, remember my man Ken Kugaraki? You're going to need 2 jobs to buy the PS3. You know what I mean? The PS3 is so powerful, the TVs out right on the market can't run them. He was saying a whole bunch of crazy shit. Do you think this is maybe Sony of the old be coming back cocky how they used to be? Or how about this? I know, listen, I'm going to say this. Where's my, I got a camera, man. I'm looking to the camera, right? Xbox is dog shit. You know what I mean? I was more excited for Xbox. That 5 minutes that they had on stage at the Video Game Awards, because everything they've been a day late and a dollar too short. Coming out there taking some, some initiative, being a little aggressive from how they used to be, right? Showing the console with 12 T flops or whatever the hell that may be, and just going on in the action, and then Sony not coming to the big day. They teased us for CES. They showed us the logo. My God. So everyone, I know they're gonna have to post have a little private event in February, whatever the case may be. But this is goddamn E3. Like, what if Microsoft goes out that bitch, gives motherfuckers a glimpse into the future? The games look, adult, graphically demanding, this, that, and the other. Do you think this can be a misstep by Sony, or to you it doesn't matter? Talk to me.
Well, okay. Well, first off, you have to separate the fan response, which I totally respect, and from the proper business response. I get that fans are bummed that E3 isn't what it once was. I get that fans, whether they were going to be at E3 in person, or a lot of people take a couple of days off and watch the press conferences and live online and argue online. It's like the NFL draft and shit. I get that it is a fun time for fans.
Culture.
Yeah, and they are absolutely right to say, hey, I'm going to miss that. I'm sad, or I'm bummed that that's kind of starting to fade away. Totally get that. But that's different than you sitting in a Sony boardroom and going, how do we spend our money best in order to make sure that we continue to dominate the console side of this industry? And in that regard, E3 is a relic. Any kind of fucking physical show, other than maybe, spending that money. I was talking on my stream yesterday about if Sony took, 10% of the money they would usually spend going to E3 and said, let's get 6 more of these PlayStation trucks and put PS5s on them and drive them all over the country and make sure everybody who wants to play a PlayStation 5 before it comes out has that experience. That makes a lot more sense for Sony. If Xbox goes on stage at E3, think about what you're really saying. Xbox can go on stage at E3 in the Xbox Microsoft Theater next to Staples Center and have an amazing show. Just because Sony's not there, you're just watching ones and zeros on your screen. There's nothing to say that come E3, Sony's not going to drop an amazing trailer of look at these 6 brand new games that you haven't heard about that will be coming out in about 5 months on PlayStation 5. They're just basically saying, why do we have to spend many dollars to be part of the conversation and to be part of gamers' lives, to be in some physical space that only 0.1% of the audience is ever going to be in?
Let me expand. Okay, because outside of the show, me at home, because you give the fans, you are talking about a potential $5 investment, another $500 investment, right? Giving the fans a chance to, because now it's open to the fans to see the console, whether behind the rope, get to check out some early versions of Assassin's Creed, and
but wait, who? When you say the fans, you're talking about a teeny tiny little slice.
I know, but still.
It's not. If you're a Sony executive, that matters. You're going to spend tens of millions of dollars that you could be communicating with lots more people just so a teeny tiny slice of people who somehow managed to get to LA can get into the fucking.
But what bigger show? Okay, if that's the case, I understand what you're saying. Right? I'm gonna play the devil's advocate. This is where opposites collide, right? I get what you're saying, right? But last time I checked, you have with a Gamescom, right? And that's for all of Europe or whatever the case may be. But
right.
You still do, cause what happens is, I understand the casuals outnumber us 10-1, but it's going to be the hardcore, right? That's going to go up there and wait in line midnight and buy these consoles in droves. They get the
That's right. And E3 will not make a difference. Still going to go out midnight and buy those consoles.
Yeah, okay, no, I get you, right? But what I'm just saying, in the ultimate a diverse universe, when you no longer have Superman, you have Bizarro, right? He's the he's the badass in town, right?
Okay.
And I'm just saying this, right? And I just hope, again, because I think both of these companies are at their best when they're out there battling out and lobbying for our dollars. You know what I mean?
Agree.
I'm not, I always tell, my Sony, if you don't know, I coined the term Sony pony. I always tell my pony brethren, right? that it's cool to have your like whether you people have my favorite child, whether we choose to admit it or not, it is what it is, right?
I have honestly not experienced that, but go ahead.
Okay, cool. Trust me, subconsciously, right? One can do no wrong in my eyes, right? But
that's different, and that's a different conversation. But let's stay on track. But I'll have that talk.
Okay, so what I'm saying is this, right? I'm just saying healthy for gaming, because a lot of people, we don't need Microsoft there. You don't want a world where it's just Sony, and that's just not healthy for gaming overall.
But you're not presenting that scenario. Sony not. You're not. Sony not being at E3 has nothing to do with Sony and Microsoft.
I'm gonna put it together for you. Give me one second. I'm gonna type it together for you.
Okay.
I'm just saying is this. Now, what if again? And I'm gonna get Xbox's door. What if Microsoft, it's all about mind shit, goes out there and finally fucking makes the goddamn layup, right?
Okay.
And they're giving the last stage. And I mean, finally has a great E3 and gives a motherfucker glimpses outside of Gears, Forza, and Halo, shows some graphically demanding games X, Y, and Z. And you're not there at the dance, right? So they have the last say, whatever the case may be, as far as that comes along. You know what I mean? Do you think, again, us being, hey, we don't need to go with Sony anyway. We're going to sell regardless. You know what I mean?
That's not what they're saying, though.
When's the last time they've done a show?
But they don't need to do the show. They can spend that. That's like saying because Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker wasn't at Comic-Con this year.
Okay.
It doesn't mean they're not going to market Rise of Skywalker. Sony's not saying what you're proposing is you're painting a scenario where Sony says, we're Sony. We don't need to do shit. Fucking love us because we're Sony and you're going to do it anyway. We're fucking do it because you're going to do it anyway, you motherfucking ignorant motherfuckers. That's not what's happening. Sony's saying, look, we're going to take these $40 million, $60 million. I don't know how much they spend. $8 million. I really don't know, but it's in the tens of millions for sure. Employees have to go there. They have to rent theaters. We're going to take that money and we're going to basically make better trailers. We're going to spend more money on more trucks to go around America so people can play these games. We're gonna hire 3 new teams to make 3 exclusive PlayStation Now games that launch on PlayStation 5 in the first year that you can only play on PlayStation Now in order to buttress up that service. They're not saying they're not competing. They're just saying they're not using E3 to compete. When you have the world internet, why do you need to be in LA on stage at the same time as Microsoft in order to play the game? They're spending their money smarter. That's all.
Okay. It's cool. Here's the thing. I just want to say, I can care less about any one of these company money. I say gaming is a very selfish hobby. What if?
Agree.
Okay. So same shit. Now, what if Sony was to go right? Let's be clear there, and Microsoft didn't show up to the dance. All hell. Microsoft have no game. All hell will break loose. I'm just saying, you're saying that Sony is not saying this. I bought the $600 PlayStation 3. For whatever reason, don't mean, and them saying, hey, like this, I guess Donnie D say, hey, you want a console? Well, the internet, we have a console for you, 360. I remember Sony saying, hey, motherfucker, you're going to need 2 jobs to get the motherfucking PS3. You know what I mean?
I remember that too. I was in the audience.
Yeah. So again, I'm not saying, like, for whatever reason, sometimes these companies, they do get a little, if it was like that, then why even do it from because they were very humble at the beginning. This is how we treat our game. This is the place for the gamers.
That's a different discussion. I can't tell you things I know, but let's just fucking
trust me.
I can trust you, sure, but let's just fucking say that if Sony Next Generation and how they compete, is going to be based on some legacy, but there is so much new blood at levels of power when it comes to Sony, and it's all throughout things that haven't been announced yet. It's all throughout that fucking organization. Whether they compete or not is going to have to do with how this new blood is able to basically run the ship that they have now been sort of given the stewardship of. But that has nothing to do with them sort of saying, fuck you, we don't want to fucking compete. That's just kind of like
Oh, no, okay. I'm gonna say this one thing, and I'm gonna get back to we got a couple more chats, right? And I'll let you
Yeah.
respond. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
To me, it's and maybe you may feel different. That's what we have here. When the opposites collide, we have a difference of opinion. It's not a circle jerk cast here. We can agree to disagree, right?
Yeah.
Same thing happened with Microsoft. Why pay
Oh wait.
Activision?
I'm sorry. What I was going to ask you, and I'll shut up. But
Okay.
where do you think Sony is? Because you were talking about Sony being arrogant, like get a second job and all that. Where are you seeing Sony being arrogant?
Because what they were doing at the beginning of this generation, they were out there, hey, doing the shows, doing the events for the fans. It gets the fans excited. Like we all like to sit back, we talk, and we do these shows. You know what I mean? I guess you're now. I don't know how long you've been doing YouTube, but these shows, these fans we get to talking about and get the happy. You see this, that, and the other, and they talk about it for weeks and weeks to come. That refuse what's going on Twitter, just together, and see what it is. They got was trying to last time. Well, maybe last time we had a conversation. You look at it totally different because you know what's behind the curtain. You work within the industry. Like you were saying, you'll never understand, quote unquote, aka the console war, right? Because you've been a part of the industry.
Right.
Or you've been an owner of an NFL team or whatever the case may be, and you look at it totally different from the average fan consumer, or you know what I mean.
I think that sure.
So you know what I mean. Your perspective, not saying is wrong. You just don't see it from the eyes of the people here.
No, but that's why I prefaced it by saying I get as a fan you're pissed off about it, but I'm saying if you worked for Sony, you would make the same decision. It's not good business. They didn't have PSX. They didn't go to E3 out of the goodness of their heart. When Sony says we're doing PSX for the fans, do you really think it was for the fans, or do you think they thought it was good business?
It showed. Yeah. It was good business. They showed up some games. We got to see maybe The Last of Us 2. Got the fans excited to go out there and invest in, quote unquote, into their ecosystem. That's what right. That's what I look at these shows for.
Yeah, but then Sony realized, hey, there's a better way to do it, and so let's spend our money doing that. I'm not saying you don't have a right to be annoyed, but that's just Sony's not your friend.
Oh, Sony, I always.
I mean, Sony didn't have PSX because it was like, you know what? Let's spend about $12 million of our money just to fucking make the fans feel good. That's PR. They spent it because they wanted the press, they wanted the publicity, and then Sony realized, you know what? This is ridiculous. We don't need to do this shit. We can they can drop a fucking trailer. They can come out on the news tomorrow and say, we're going to drop the first footage of PlayStation 5 gameplay. It'll be dropping at midnight, and we're live streaming it, and we have a special guest. Hideo Kojima's coming in to host it. You would have so many fucking people, and the cost to do that would be minimal compared to a show like PSX. Why would they not fucking do that? That's not a lack of arrogance. That's just good business.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, okay. Well, let me get some of these bills here. Hold on one second. Got a few. Pardon me. We got a few. Let me scroll down. Scroll down was the first one. Listen to the man. Jerry's. I'm sorry. Okay. Top Z. I'm sorry. I missed the beginning of your show. Jaffe was the first. Jaffe, what was your first console? What do you think gaming needs right now?
My first console was called I think it was called the Telestar. It was right before the Atari 2600. It was a triangular console that on one side of the triangle had a steering wheel. You rotated it like a dim sum plate at a Chinese restaurant, and then you got a gun holster, and then you rotated it again, and you got two Pong-like dials, and there were triangle carts that you could put in. My dad brought it home, blew our fucking minds. We had that for about a year, and then I got the Atari 2600, and it is one of the greatest memories of my life, being a 8-9-year-old birthday kid, my whole family being at the house and having Atari there for the first time, and it opened my world to the idea of stepping in and actually interacting with the fantasy world, and it changed my life, and it was fucking delightful. What gaming needs right now? I think gaming needs what we're seeing EA learn. I think gaming needs a better balance between art and business, and I think it's really actually quite heartening to see a company like EA, if something like their lack of DL or lack of microtransactions and Need for Speed Heat, or what they did with Last Jedi is actually a realistic sense of where that company is pivoting. Same thing with like the improvements of Battlefield 2, where they're starting to say data is important, marketing is important, being mercenary business people is important, but we also are in show business and we can't forget the show part, and we can't forget the fact that we're also entertainers. And I think the industry needs more of the balance to come back in, where you have all these VC motherfuckers and you have all the... What's that?
My daughter, I'm sorry.
Oh, and you have all these business guys that came in saying, let's fucking data mine this shit and let's just squeeze every fucking nickel we can out of it. And now it seems like we're slowly swinging back to going, wait a minute, we all like money, we all want to get rich, but this is entertainment and we can't lose sight of that. So I think it needs more of that shit.
All right, hold on, one question. Sorry, Miss. Okay, Zero Rain, what's up, Rain? Z, listen to this man, FN. Jaffe speaking facts. The drunken master, E3 conventions are lame. All of us outgrew it. The only convention we need to attend now is the Adult Entertainment Expo. Fuck what you talking about? Shout out to my brother El Matador 809. Sony is saying, I want all the eyes on me on my show. Okay. Sony profit. Xbox had an E3 last year and they went out there bitch and stunk it up. They had one AAA game in 2020. Sony has just 10 facts, FN.
It's true. It's totally true. Totally true.
McNeil J. Chris with a dollar now. He says David just broke the entire Council War's jaw. I'm the Council Warlord. Fuck what you talking about? I guess again, like I said, we're gonna see. I agree to disagree. I mean, as far as that,
you're telling me, Z, if you were a Sony executive.
I'm not. I'm telling you, as a fan who's going to go out there and spend my money, and if you want,
as a fan, I agree with you. As a fan, I agree. 100%, I agree.
And you want me to buy your $500 console, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Motherfucker, listen. Before you bend me over, right? Take me out to dinner. Wine me and dine me. You know, that same Sony that you were, same thing. And this is what happened to Microsoft. Somehow the roles reversed, right? That same Microsoft that was hungry, beating outdoors and all that other shit, and they lost. This is what happened to me, in my opinion. You may feel different. Microsoft lost focus on what their core audience was and what we want. You know what I mean?
I do, but I think I absolutely agree with that. But I think you're mistaking. I think you're suggesting missing E3 means that they're turning their back on their fans.
No, well, I'm just saying it's been because they are a fan-filled service, and they've missed the last 4, 5, 6 shows, right?
How many people go to shows?
No, how many people watch? Not even how many people go. How many people watch them and stream them, Jaffe?
Right, so fucking put a video out.
They didn't do any.
Sure they have. They've been doing these terrible, what do they call them?
Oh, I'm no. Okay, that's just lately. They didn't do Gamescom. They didn't do the Paris SX. There were shows that we sit back that I would stream and do my reactions with the crowd. There was none. Not even, here's the thing. Not even, see what Nintendo does, which I don't agree with. Some pre-recorded shit, but it's still their show. And outside of which I don't think you took into account of people going there to pay the ticket to get in. What's a bigger platform than YouTube? We're talking about hundreds and millions of views that will reach all to a motherfucker in a hut and to bet some goddamn where.
That's right. But that's not going away. No one's taking that away.
But I'm just saying, like, last time I checked, I'm not even talking about attendance wise. I'm just talking about the game. I'm sorry, the E3 is for the world, not just people that can actually afford to go there to sit back and watch it on their phone, X, Y, and Z. That's why they pay to market. You have a brand new console coming in, and I'm just saying, if your biggest competitor, whatever, and they come out that bitch and knock it out to the park, you know what I mean? Who would have thought that? All the dominance that Sony had with the PS1 and the PS2, that they would stumble like that with the PS3. You understand what I'm saying?
I do, but they stumbled because they were absolutely arrogant and they one guy at Sony had way too much power.
Okay, and also too, I'm not the same with you. There have been a lot of shakeups over at Sony, right? And I'm gonna say this last thing, I'm gonna shut down, and you can get, if there's no need to reinvent the wheel. And I asked you, you may not remember, I would hate to question your sobriety, but the last time I spoke to you on air, I said, do you think that was an integral mistake of Yoshida being demoted. You know what I mean? This, I mean, it's not on some fanboy console war shit. Yeah,
Okay.
you had this man get you to the place of selling 100 some odd much million consoles, right? Right? That was his job, right? Now you got some guy named Herman
Mm,
Lust or Herman, I don't know who the fuck.
Herman Holst.
Fuck that guy, right? Never heard of him in my life, right? And then again, Yoshida, who knows the culture and the nature of it, he's now been head of the fucking the hand sanitizer department in Sony, the Indies or some shit. You know what I mean? And no disrespect to him, cool, but you understand what I'm saying?
Well, you're simply wrong, but I comprehend the.
Oh, I mean, what he is. He's not the ball. He's over Indies, right?
Yeah, he's over Indies, but that doesn't mean he's.
He's not the. He has now. He answers to Herman Lust, Herman the Horn Dog, right?
Okay. Okay.
So again, what I give you an example, right? If you look at your screen right here, what I
Yeah.
mean by integral decisions, right? It was this man here, all praise Yoshida. I say Sony's the king of the north and Kratos the one true God, right? The Lord of the light, right? Look,
Okay.
fucking, it was him that told Corey Barlog, nah, motherfucker, that ain't the answer. Go put that shit back in the oven before as God of War, the new one, right? They made integral decisions.
Sure.
Like, bro, like, what the, like, you know what I mean? Or even, I had it on my screen yesterday. They hired some, I don't know who the fuck this, the president of PlayStation, some woman, right? And not saying that she's a woman, she can't do her job. She was over
From Microsoft. Yeah.
yeah. I'm just saying, like, goddamn, Microsoft products have all sold like shit. The Zoom,
Yeah, but
the Xbox.
but you're talking about such different things, though, dude. The idea of if the Sony executive is going to bear fruit or not is a great conversation to have, and the answer is none of us fucking know. The question of is Sony being arrogant, and are they going to express that arrogance through bad pricing decisions? Are they going to express that arrogance through no backwards compatibility at all? Whatever. That we don't know yet. All those things would be absolutely viable attacks to put on Sony if we had that. But them not showing up at a trade show and choosing to express their product in a different PR way that they think is better for their fan base and better for their customers, that doesn't smack of arrogance.
All right.
That's just them kind of going, we're going to spend our money a little different.
All right. Now, before we close, so let me ask you a question, right?
Yeah.
If you don't think, if Sony wasn't the market leader, right?
Yes.
Do you think that they would forego E3 if they wasn't in the position that they were in now?
Yes, I think E3 is a relic.
Cool, but do you like I said, they were the underdog or would have been the underdog, whatever. Do you think they would have missed E3?
Sure.
Still?
I think it depends. Look, if you're Tommy Tallarico with the Amico, then I don't think you can afford to miss E3 because you need you can get. Okay, but if you're an underdog like Microsoft's the underdog, but you still have an incredibly heavy war chest, then you don't need E3. You don't need to spend the millions of dollars. Better to hire some fucking trucks and go out into America and go out into Europe and say, we're going to get this in everybody's hands that we can and expose a lot more people to include word of mouth for our new console. E3 is no longer what it was. All you're basically seeing are companies that are adjusting and pivoting. Look, you look at all these companies that have dropped out of E3. It's not because they're arrogant. It's not because they're stupid. They're going, look, the internet has come along. I was at the very first E3 in 1995. It was a different time. You only had print. The internet has come along. It's changed the game. There's live streaming. There's influencers. Everybody's got a fucking cell phone. Why would you, if you would be an irresponsible executive if you cut a check to the E3 department at Sony for $25 million versus saying, you know what, I'm going to take that money and I'm going to use that to promote the console in a different way that's going to reach more people. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know. I would rather, like I said, them do a show. This is my opinion. I guess we agree. We played this last video before we close the show. Them meet me outside of some greasy spoon in a dark alley somewhere with some fucking what's it called, the booth PSVR 2, and then me again sitting in the confines of my home streaming and watching the show. And again, I'm like I said, I'm looking at it from a span, and as far as their business, their money, I can give a rat's ass about.
Oh well, yeah. As a fan, as a fan, I 100% agree with you. There's nothing you're saying I disagree.
I'm just me again. Also, too, maybe being my my first E3. Maybe me and you hooking up, going down to Mexico, like with the guy you had on the show,
There you go. That's right.
hanging out for a weekend or something. But you know what I mean. So I am a little disappointed. But
Understood.
let me pay these bills right quick.
Yeah.
Streamlabs. If you can see something before me, you can maybe get to go.
Yeah. Let's go to the top here. Hang on a sec. Okay. Hang on there. Okay. We did. David just broke the entire. Okay. So the next one. Games life. As a fan, it's better if Sony comes to my city. I think he's basically saying, yeah, the average person's not going to get into E3, but if Sony spends that money and buys 6 more trucks and they go all over the country, getting people hands-on and demos and giveaways, I'm with you, Beats. I think there's better ways to get the game out there, get the console out there. Von Lamont, $5 super chat says, Jaffe, question: why do you think Sony hasn't made a PlayStation All-Stars racing game to compete with Mario Kart? Don't fucking ask me, man. You're absolutely fucking right. They need the idea of PlayStation All Stars needs a remake, and they absolutely need to do a PlayStation Kart. We've proposed that to them probably 10 fucking times, and what always comes back to me is the answer. And this is one of Sony's strengths, but I can bet that Jim Ryan maybe won't have time for this bullshit. One of the great things about Shu is he always respected the teams to such a degree that, again, and I love Shu. Shu is integral to my career, but that doesn't mean I can't disagree with the right. I remember Shu saying to me when I said, Shu, why don't you guys make a fucking God of War for the PlayStation Move? That shit would be amazing. You've got those move controls.
Yeah,
swinging around. And he basically said, well, and I had left Sony Santa Monica by this point. He basically said Sony Santa Monica is worried about the visual quality, that it's not going to look as good, and thus we're not going to do it because we don't want to upset the team. And in my mind, I'm going, that would move fucking units of the move. Who gives a shit if Sony Santa Monica is not thrilled if the graphics aren't perfect? Give it to another fucking team. That's just good fucking business. I don't mean be a dick to Sony Santa Monica, but don't be a moron, right? And so the reason I think they haven't made a PlayStation racing yet is potentially because a lot of it was really hard for them to do stars because all the developers were like, no, those polka dots aren't exactly right, and Fat Princess would never wear her hair that way, and she, it's all this ego bullshit. And I think if I'm fucking Jim Ryan or Herman, guys, you guys are artists, I respect it, you love your characters, but these motherfuckers are going in the game. You have 4 months to work with the development team to give them direction, but we're still fucking pulling the trigger because this is a fucking cash cow. That's what I would fucking say. We got a guy, McNeil Chris J says, Z, this is for you, Z. That's why Microsoft can't make mature AAA exclusives. They're spending $100 million at E3. Bleeding Edge, I don't know. I know they're... I mean, it's a good point. Every dollar you spend at E3 is a dollar not spent on development. So something to think about. Sony Profit.
No, it's Magic King 3000 donated. That's next. What are 10 AAA Sony exclusives dropping in 2020?
He's calling out somebody before saying that Microsoft has.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
We'll know in February, right? They're going to go on stage in a couple of weeks and announce the PlayStation 5 and show games. They may not show 10 of them, but they'll show a bunch. Did you miss Sony Profit about these dudes put a logo out?
No.
All right, go ahead.
No. Okay, Sony Profit's my brother there. Sony Profit, these dudes put out a logo and broke records. Quadruple Xbox with real likes. Vedger, with the 119 seconds, that's my brother Vedger. Sony don't need E3. We on PlayStation already know everything to wait from this gen, and Sony going to E3 in June. Announced the PS5 game will only hurt PS4 games. Upcoming for PS4 game sales are. I look at it like this. Well, to answer your question, Venture, PlayStation fan, but there are a lot of other people in the world that are not quote unquote fans of PlayStation, or I say invested in the ecosystem that may want to buy your product. I gave such cases as my grandson. He doesn't care where he consumes his gaming, whether it's a Hachitachi 2000 or Elite Pad. You know what I mean? As far as hurting the sales of the PS4 games, who the hell's not going to buy The Last of Us or the Ghost of Tsushima? This generation is over, man. It started in 2017, but shout out to my brother, Vedger. Top Dog 2K17, who donated 2 pesos and 13 cents. Jaffe, thanks for schooling Z. Fuck you. You know what I mean? But
Let me tell you something about Z. Z is the heartbeat of the industry. Z is coming at it from a fan standpoint. The biggest problem you got, Z, is you refuse to break that. You refuse to step. I'm inviting you behind the goddamn curtain. I'm saying, from a fan standpoint, there's nothing you're saying that's wrong.
yeah,
But I'm saying from a business standpoint, if you worked at Sony, there's no way you would be making a different decision. That's all.
trust me. Listen. I understand business. I'm just
I know
saying.
you. I know you do.
What I'm just saying is, it could be a intro mistake. Just for shits and giggles, if Microsoft finally gets this shit together on the big stage, and I'm not talking about people that actually attend, because there are going to be millions of more people that sit back and watch. I got my man in Bang, my man Hanyang Gongdong in Bangkok, China, going to have his Palm Pilot or whatever the hell the case may be, looking at these amazing games in the phone, and you don't have a presence there overall. So, you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying is, you know what I mean?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what is the difference to the guy in Bangkok
Yeah.
if he's sitting there on his phone and come June 28th or whatever, he sits there and he watches Phil Spencer on the stage at E3 and he's like, wow, that was great. And then he gets an alert from IGN or Twitter or whatever. It's like, hey, Sony just dropped they're streaming live from Foster City, where they've got Cory Barlog, Hideo Kojima, Herman Holst, and
Herman who?
Yeah. 5 special guests, and they're going to also basically from Foster City expose 6 new PlayStation 5 games you've never heard about. For the guy in Bangkok, what does it matter if Sony's standing on the Microsoft Theater stage next to Staples
I'm
Center?
gonna answer that question. Then I'm gonna go to my poor little man in Ethiopia, right, with 2 grains of rice, and say, hey, listen here. Everyone knows it, but it's like this, right? I will put it the same thing of them having, like, Nintendo does those directs or whatever the case. Just short, right? Cool. But everyone does. I didn't find out about a direct till about 2 years ago. Everyone knows about E3. You know what I mean? So again, with the adaptation of the internet, fuck the attendance, there is no bigger other show. Like, you know what I mean? Even the video game award we talked about. The video game awards is a dog shit show. A bunch of fucking fluff for nothing. Way too fucking long. You know what I mean? But everybody tunes in to see this motherfucking show. Yeah, at the end. You know what I mean? Regardless of what they may fucking spend, they make this, that, the other, motherfuckers are still there. And the gaming community is the whole, whether you like it or love it, we all tune in. Just for best paint art director in Hum Dang Jong. Like, what the fuck? All you need is best fighter, best shooter, best racer. You know what I mean? It's way too, you told me they didn't even know what the fuck. You, actually, to be fair, you explained to me what a game director was. I didn't know what the fuck a game, make the game, but, you know what I mean? Way too many goddamn characters to me. And we talking about a show to me that's not needed and fucking out of fucking tune. And here's my little rant. How in the hell could you get Rocket League best racer over Forza? You know, and I'm just being real. Rocket League is in the fucking racer. Or best sports game. You know what I mean? Like, you talking about somebody being out of fucking touch, but they're still fucking there. You know what I mean? That's all that I'm saying, And again, I'm not counting anyone's pockets, their money, what's dated. To say that, again, that E3 doesn't have a presence and gets, quote unquote, the gaming community, us talking, buzzing on Twitter. Now I can see on Twitter now they think about adding like Facebook where you can get tips and stuff, donations for your tweets. Social media is a motherfucker. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm just saying this I'm gonna say this before we get the whole over here. Just for gaming, right? For gaming, again, it's great because I love, bro, as a fan, I love the days where I miss the days of Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft both out there competing and lobbying for our dollars. You understand what I'm saying? And, still sharp and still, you know what I mean?
Yeah, nothing's changed. They're just doing it different.
I'm just saying, because listen, trust me, that it wouldn't have been the same if Sony didn't go to E3 and on stage, hey, this is how we trade our games. You understand what I'm saying?
I do. I absolutely do. But again,
that was a viral fucking event. And you tell
that's
me,
right. It was.
If I'm coming out of Roscoe's Chicken and Waffle, and they got a truck out that motherfucker, and my man, what's the man, Chris Boy, talk about this? Hey, audience, this is how we trade our game. That's not going to have the same impact of them being there on the big fucking stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you couldn't be wrong. You know why? Because the viral moment you're talking about didn't take place on stage. It was
shown. I understand, but it was
no,
shown.
it was not shown on stage. It was a video that Sony released with Adam Boyes and Shuei Yoshida that they put out on YouTube. They could do the same fucking thing. But let me tell you something. Okay. Sony can sit there and live stream just like Mystery Science Theater. They won't do it because Sony's not going to do this shit. But the minute Xbox fucks up at their console, at their conference, Sony can drop a video. Just like a political campaign and say, "Can you believe this shit Phil Spencer fucking said? Don't worry about it, fans. We got you covered. This is Uncharted 5." That's not going anywhere.
Okay, Let me. I understand. We deal with semantics. I'm not saying that it happened on stage, but it happened during E3. Is what I mean, and during the moment. You understand what I'm saying? This is what I mean, and it was broadcast across to millions of fucking homes and viewers all across the fucking world, and that to me, like I said, that set the fucking tone. David,
I hear you.
David, my man. Great fucking show. Great fucking.
I think we got one. We missed a couple super chats.
I'm sorry. Yeah, get them.
I'll get them real quick. Where there's about 4 or 5. Let's see.
Jersey Finest. Fanboys is killing the industry. You should want all companies to win. FN needs to go up. The one before that I see was Jaffe. Thanks for schooling Z. My brother McNeil J. Chris for the $10. Thank you. Rumors came out that ESA focus moving forward will be on celebs and content creators like Ninja putting games in the backseat. That's why Sony came out and said they don't like that vision of E3. I haven't. If you could, Top Dog, send me a link or something or whatever the case, so I can do a video. Like the ambulance chase, I can do a video about that about 6 a.m. If you have a link for that, send it to my phone or inbox me on Twitter or whatever the case may be. But I haven't heard anything. I was out on the road all damn day today. You know what I mean? You hear anything like that? Have you heard anything like that?
No, I think that's really interesting. I'm going to look into that.
Yeah.
I agree. It was a fun show. I hope you enjoyed it. Again.
Your mic went out. Hello.
You there?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
No, I said it was a fun show. I had a good time. We should the audience had fun. Do me a favor.
Like the show? Do you guys like the show?
Yeah, let us know. We're talking about doing it once a week. In the meantime, I think I'm a mod. I want to drop I'm going to drop some.
Okay, let me type something now so I can.
Let's see.
I can mod you in the. Let me go to the actual show. Let me.
Ancaster says Z's stuck in the dinosaur mentality.
What?
Things have to evolve. I'm pretty sure Sony has a plan. They've been successful for a while. Look how thirsty people are for PS5 news. They have mind share down. They got to be careful, Lancaster. They could be arrogant. I don't know what this new executive team is going to be able to do. I hope it's great. But I'm with you when it comes to E3. Congrats to Jaffe for clowning that goof Jack. I don't know who that is, Gotti 360.
Oh, the guy Jack moved Johnny with the baseball shit.
Oh, gotcha. So hey, listen. So if you're not familiar, I run a show called the Jaffe Stream. I'm going to drop usually about 3 to 5 times a week. It's games, it's politics, it's shooting the shit. We talk about UFOs. We talk about people can call in. We have people calling people in. Lots of chat. It's a lot of fucking fun. And then you can follow me over at David Scott Jaffe. I hope to see some of you on some of my streams. And then Z is the current plan is Z. We'll come back next Wednesday and we'll do this again. Correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Here's my social media bullshit.
I don't know if it came up right now. Oh, you already have them on. Yeah,
all right. Yeah. This is my YouTube channel.
Put it in. Do it one by one. Sometimes it's funny like that. Put your YouTube and then put your Twitter.
All right. There's my coming up. And this will tell you when I'm doing all the drops, as you guys know. Am I a conservative or a Democrat? I'm a hard liberal, but I don't hate conservatives, but I'm not a big Donald Trump fan. But I'm always open. I'm trying to find a middle ground. But we don't talk about politics that much because, as Z will tell you, it kills viewership.
Okay, hold on. My man, on a free messaging app, we got my man Rice Eater 79. Microsoft is not competing with games anymore. So I feel Sony wants to distance themselves from that association. Sony will promote next gen alone. All right. And Yeah, that was it. And that message there was sent on the free messaging app. So again, shout out to everyone here that watched it live. We had about 350 people here. Shout out to my brother Louis Silvers. Made it late. You got to rewind it back. We had a hell of a show today. Made it late, but I will be listening to the replay. Now, David Z is a fraudulent man, and now your integrity is in question. Much love. Shout out to my man. Always say, hey, listen, my integrity is always in question, man. But shout out to each and every last one of you guys for things you guys coming out and not only supporting me, throughout my many different endeavors on Twitch and everything. Shout out to you guys. I'm gonna be on Twitch in a minute in the after show. Show you guys to subscribe free with Amazon Prime. It don't cost you a dime. Here's the link if you don't have it. I'll be over there in about 20-30 minutes playing whatever with you guys. And all you guys also that signed up to the website. Like I said, we're giving away a free game to the most active person on the site that leaves, comments or whatever the case. Way else again saying thank you. Check out the site broadbandbullies.com. Let me know what you think about the article. I also have a part there about UFOs. Got somebody that's gonna be dropping stuff, Bigfoot, Dogmen, and all types of shit. Here go the right click link to that if you don't know by now. David, my man, my brother from another mother. We had a great show today.
It was fun.
Thank you all, and I'll be back tomorrow. When do you go live? You have a schedule? You just shoot from there?
I usually am in the be streaming tonight on Twitch, but I will definitely, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll know. But I'll be going live tomorrow, probably around 1:00 Pacific time on the Jaffe stream over my YouTube channel.
You got it. Thank you all. We'll be back.